And man, bless up from Vest Up. It's your boy Dread, Samson Dread. From the islands, you already know they call me 88, but in America they call me Dread, man. Subscribe, like, share. AHumbleSoul, man. Rock with my guy. Bless up from Vest Up.
AHumbleSoul, we checking back in, man. We live from the ATL right now. We got Dread in front of the camera. What's going on with you, bro?
Bless up from Vest Up.
Man, you what you got behind you, man? Like, what's the flags behind you, bro?
Man, that's my strength, my unity, my powers, man. That's the U.S. Virgin Islands there, the flag. And, you know what I mean? I'm a Rastafarian, you know what I mean? Holy Emmanuel, King Selassie Jah, Rastafari. We symbolize the colors. The red is for the blood that's spilled. The gold is for the gold that's stolen. And the green is for the grass, you know what I mean? The earth, you know what I mean? And the conquering land of the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's deeper than rap with me and deeper than bodyguarding, but you know what I mean?
No, for sure. And I got wind of you and your story recently by seeing an interview you did on Camp Capone. It was dope, man. Like talking about your journey from the Virgin Islands to America, and how you jumped into like bodyguard and so on and so forth from the streets, man. So I want to explore all of that, but before we even jump into that, bro, like just talk a little bit about, you know, your upbringing, you know, in the Virgin Islands before you came to the U.S., migrated.
The upbringing, nice, bright kid, you know, happy. Growing up, my dad, first of all, my mom and them, you know, my people, them, they're wealthy, my mom's side and my dad's side, but my dad was in the streets, and, you know, I grew up happy. And my dad, though, he was a dope boy. He was a big dope boy. He used to run the island, you know, not too different from Big Meech. My dad used to run shit, you know what I mean? So a lot of respect came from dad, too, you know what I mean? And, you know, my life started just, you know, when he died, you know, a little while after he died, they hired a hitman. They took my dad out. And, you know, from that day, you know, life changed for me. The day he died, it changed for me. And I mean, there are certain events that took place in between, you know, as we get into it, I explain. And, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I gravitated to the streets after that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So around, you said, so you were a child when your father passed away.
Yeah, I was 8 years old.
And you said prior to that, he ran the island.
Ran the whole island.
For somebody who's not familiar with your culture and just the Virgin Islands, like, what do you mean when you say he ran the island, bro?
He's that nigga. Same shit Future say, same shit, you know, Michi, Scarface, you know what I mean, New Jack CD type of shit. You know what I mean? Ain't no different, you know what I mean? He was that guy, you know what I mean? May he rest in peace.
And so prior to his passing, like, what was your relationship like with your father as well as your mother?
My relationship with my mom was stronger, but my dad, you know, I'm a boy child, so I was highly influenced by him. You know, when my dad came around, I know people might look at me like he was 8, but you don't know what your kid be looking at, you know what I mean? But I knew, you know, I was growing up, I watched movies like South Central, Menace to Society, Scarface, you know what I mean? So I understand the gangster look or how ballers or, you know, dope boys roll. And my dad, he was always fresh, you know, at that time, back in the 80s and stuff, late 80s, early 80s, late 80s, you know, they was wearing ballies. He had on the ballies, red ballies, his pants starched down, collar shirt. And a lot of dreads, they wear knitted hats, but my dad used to wear leather hats. You know what I mean? He had jewels and, you know, like in a ATL or in America, the old schools or, you know, the Chevys and the, you know what I mean, those type of stuff, the Dunks. But in the islands, people like those too. But the V-dubs, the 57s, you know what I mean, the old school V-dubs is what we fix. But in the islands, we trick them out. Not like how they have them up here in America. They be having regular engines. Like, nah, I'm talking like they doing like 8, probably 7 seconds down a quarter mile. So they be decked out. You know what I mean? So my dad had a dune buggy. Sometimes he'd pull up in a hard top. He'd pull up in a rag top. I used to see him in the CRX, the Honda Civic. He'd come up in a Ninja bike. He had a Studebaker. Like, I'm just saying, I came to my dad's house one time, I seen a cigarette boat outside. But I'm just saying, I'm watching. You know what I mean? And it's not hard to tell. When he comes in the neighborhood, everybody comes outside to talk to him. I could see right now my uncle, shout out my uncle Sean, he used to come outside every time my dad came, could look for us, because the relationship was stronger with moms, but dad used to pop up and do come look for us. Like I said, he was that man, and I had mad other brothers, he had other siblings, so, you know what I mean? But when he pull up, you know what I mean, I used to blush because, like, you know, he was big, and, you know what I mean, he was that guy. But I remember my uncle used to come outside and be like, yo, let me land the car. And my dad used to tell him he ain't ready for this. You know, because it was decked out, though. It was not like a toy, like, you know what I mean? But, not in no bad way, but, you know what I mean? But, it wasn't hard to tell. I'm just saying, it wasn't hard to tell.
No, for sure, man. So he was the guy. You say he was like the big Meech. Do you know exactly, as much as you're comfortable with sharing, like, what he was into, what he had his hands into?
I mean, hey, I let the record reflect, but, you know what I mean, he was known for a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, because growing up throughout the years, I met mad people, and they, like, even some of the biggest hustlers coming out of the Virgin Islands came to me. I met them in life, I met them in jail, I met them, I would go to school with their sons, or up to the other day, a guy called me, and I don't know him, and he's like, I don't know you from nowhere, but my dad just pulled up by your dad's house and started crying, saying your dad was a good man. You know what I mean? So people used to come, your dad front me my first brick. Your dad front me the first pound of weed. Your dad was a man, you know what I mean? So it's like stories. I never firsthand seen him like serve people, but I'm just saying the record always reflect. The streets ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? One time I seen him got in a slight altercation with the neighbors. I don't know what was being said, but they exchanged words, and my dad said he's coming back. And when he came back with a car full of niggas. You know what I mean? Nothing didn't kick off, but I'm just saying, if you do the match, you understand what's going on, because it was throwing off words to each other, him and the neighbor. I didn't know what him and the neighbor really had going on. But I was a kid, but I was watching. You know what I mean? So, you know, I seen that, but I never seen too much of the dirt, but the islands gave it to me. Even if I wanted to be a good guy and go to church, the streets would have found me. Like, yo, you know who your dad was? R.I.P. to my guy Hamster. I remember when I really came into the streets, I asked him to front me something, and he told me, he's like, front you? He's like, what is you talking about? He's saying how much people owe you because of your dad. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, this is the conversations I had growing up, coming up through the islands. In the chain game, we on the block, you know what I mean? And people would reach out. So the respect was there. Yeah, it had people, haters and stuff, but it was more love than hate. You know what I mean? So it was balance.
For sure. So what about your mom? Like, what was your relationship like with her?
My mom is very strong. She's very strong. God bless her. You know what I mean? She's very strong, and she was very straight up. My mom was a gangster, and not gangster as in, you know, but she was thorough, she was straightforward. Sometimes my mom used to walk in my room and run up and be like, yo, what you see is what you get, what's up? You know what I mean? Because she seen me kind of strained, you know what I mean? But that was her trying to pull me, you know what I mean? But she a Pisces. Pisces are good people, you know what I mean? And they're very serious people, you know what I mean? So like mom, she always wanted the best for me though. You know what I mean? That's one thing, and up to this day, she still do. You know what I mean? So our relationship, I lived with her, so the relationship, of course, was stronger. You know what I mean? But my dad, up to this day, sometimes she tell me, you idolize your dad. You know what I mean? And it's not that, it's just, yo, that's my dad. You know what I mean? Even if he came one time to the house and looked for me, and at the end of the day, that's my dad. So you can never confuse me or, you know, he don't look for you, or, you know what I mean? You know, sometimes how moms, and when they separate, how they try to bridge the gap. So it's like, that's my dad. And I'm a man child, so I'm always, you know what I mean? You know, but it was dope, you know, growing up with my mom, because she shaped me a lot too. Because like I told you, my dad died, so mom, she gave me a lot of certain disciplines, like, you know what I mean, and stuff I stood on. Like I told you, she used to come in my room sometimes and push me off, like, what you see is what you got, what's up?
Yeah, let me ask you this. So you mentioned that you grew up with your mom in the same house as your mom. She raised you. Was it just you and her? Was it multiple siblings?
I had a stepfather. Shout out my stepdad, because he incorporated the Bible in me, this spiritual side. You know, as we get in, he incorporated that. He brought that into me. You know what I mean? At first, I was very rebellious because I knew who my dad was, and then he got knocked out of the picture. You know, she got married at the time when my dad died. My mom had moved on. She was married. She was having a baby. I think she was pregnant with my sister. So it was me and my sister at first. My older sister, that's my dad's first child. And then she got my sister Simone, and she got T'Challa. I have a brother actually, yeah, from Black Panther. I have a brother named T'Challa. You know what I mean? But he was born in the 90s, so that was before the movie came out. You know what I mean? But you know, culture. You know what I mean? But we grew up fine. We stayed in. I used to stay in my grandma's house. She stayed up in the hills, so I always had the ocean view. You know what I mean? And my granddad had a lot of property. Like I said, my mom's side, they wealthy, and he had a lot of property. So we stayed in his house, but it was balanced because it was a house area. But at the same time, the hood was in the back. So I remember she used to tell me, it used to have a hole for when it rains, but I used to sneak through it and go in the hood. You know what I mean? And I had a taste of, you know, fine living, but still the streets is calling. You know what I mean? So it was dope. You know what I mean? When my dad died, my mom moved us out to the north side, and we had an ocean view house. You know what I mean? She and my stepdad, they got a big house. So like my people always provided the best. You know what I mean? So living nice or, you know, having nice things is not unusual to me. I've been seeing it. I've been living around it. You know, I was born in paradise. I've took my clients to the islands. That's how the islands is. That's our economy on tourism. This is the economy for the U.S. Virgin Islands and a lot of other islands that tourists is coming. So I see the people that venture to my islands to where I was born. You know what I mean? So they gave us good living though. You know what I mean? But like I tell you, when my dad died, stuff shifted. You know what I mean?
Man, as much as you're comfortable with sharing, like, do you remember the day that your father passed away?
Yeah, I remember it. I always play it back. Every day God wakes me up. I lost 2 brothers and a dad to gun violence, and every day I think about them. Every day. Even right now we're speaking, I'm thinking about them. So I never forget the school I went to, Lockhart School. It was next to a hospital, and I wasn't feeling well, like inside, not like sick like food or something. It's just the vibes was off. You know what I mean? The chemistry was off. I don't know if I was feeling my dad passing, but I seen 3 ambulances left the hospital. You always see 1, maybe 2, but you always see 1. But if you see 2, 1 is going one direction, the next one. But these 3 ambulances went the same direction. So I stopped playing. I came by the gate. I was looking. I was like, I wonder what's wrong, because I never, you know, as a kid, I never seen 3 ambulances, you know, leave at one time. So my friends was asking me like, yo, you want to play? What's wrong? And it's like, I ain't even feel like playing anymore. You know, whoop, school finished. I came home, my older sister, she was home, and she was crying, and she was like, I never call him dad too. I call him by his name, his street name, Jaquila. It's his street name, and we call him Dale, his government name too. And she was like, Dale died, and I'm like, what? Impossible. Like, you know what I mean? Like I tell you, I know who my dad was. You know what I mean? He was a big, tall type of guy. You know, humble, quiet, but you know he was a man, so I didn't want to believe it. My mom, she comes home at 5 o'clock every day when she comes from work, you know what I mean, Monday to Friday. And she didn't come home at 5, so I knew something was wrong. And my stepdad and mom, they had some words. I don't know what was really going on, but you know, she was pregnant at the time, and with my little sister. And I heard her say something about the morgue. So I started to cry because I knew what the morgue was. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm young, but I'm just saying, my mom, she, you know, my people, they always believe in education, especially my stepdad. So when people having summertime, nah, I'm inside with a book. You remember them books that's selling the pharmacies? You know what I mean? The multiplications, that's the type of stuff I was doing. So I knew words, big words from a kid. You know what I mean? And when I heard morgue, I knew what it was. I was like, yeah, he's gone, you know what I mean? And later on that night, my mom came in the room crying, you know what I mean? And my neighbors, you know, like I tell you, that some type of situation, my neighbors, they was celebrating, you know, that my dad died. And my mom came in the room. I'll never forget it. And that day, I always knew after that day I was going to be a gangster. I was like, fuck that. I'm going to be a gangster. She came in the room. She was like, don't worry about nothing. God going to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, I didn't know exactly what they were celebrating, but, you know, I heard mom talking the next day. So, you know, I gained knowledge. And then what made it clear why they was celebrating, my neighbor got locked up for being a driver, the getaway driver, for the you know, with the killing of my dad. And what was so big about it, it was the first triple shooting homicide and drive-by shooting in the Virgin Islands. So it never had no drive-by shootings, or 3 people got killed at once. So my dad and his 2 homeboys got knocked off. You know what I mean? So when I seen that in the paper, it's just like, I understand what it was. I understand what they were celebrating. You know what I mean? I knew the neighbor. I grew up. I knew him. You know what I mean? I don't speak too much of him, but I knew him growing up. And he was an older cat and stuff. But, you know, I always used to watch him because, like, yo, like, you know, it's in the paper. You fucking drove the car. You know what I mean? Helped took my dad out. So, I mean, we never verbally got into nothing. I was a kid. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying at the age of 8, I'm observing like a sponge. I'm watching. The truth is right there, you know what I mean? So a regular 8-year-old is not experiencing what I'm experiencing because I'm in the mix. I'm hearing my mom on the phone, people calling, I'm looking in the paper, the neighbors are connected, you know what I mean? So after that day, I really didn't give a fuck no more. You know what I mean? I don't mean to put it out there like that, but I really didn't care anymore. Like, I already know if I was supposed to be a good child, that's gone. You know what I mean? Because he didn't pass my natural causes. He, you know what I mean? He got gunned down. You know, my dad, the 2 homies got killed in the car. My dad tried to get out of the car and run, and they gunned him down. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? I take it even deeper. Like, when I watched Boys in the Hood, I cried. And why I cried is when old boy got killed, the brother.
Ricky?
Yeah, when Ricky got killed. Yeah, it's because it came clear to me what it means. You know, you had somebody get killed. You know, somebody, bam, 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 you know what I mean? But gunned down, you know, I'm 8 years old, so I'm not grasping it like he was gunned down. Like, what you mean, gunned down? And when I seen Ricky, you know what I mean? That shit sit on me. I'll never forget that shit. My mom, you know, she sort of hold me, hug me and stuff. But I cried. We was watching it. This is the first time it aired. Boys in the Hood. I was in the islands watching it. I'm 8 years old. I'm just saying. So I got to understand what it means to be gunned down. So when I seen that shit, I was like, yo, that's, you know, it's fucked up, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm just saying all of this is happening. I'm 8 years old. I'm soaking in all this game, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying I had a high understanding, like, who I was going to be after that. You know what I mean? Like, for real, you watch movies, and it's bad for young kids to watch big movies, like, because, like, I always said I wasn't going to be a rat either, like, because you watch people tell, but when they go home, the gunman is outside and they kill him. Or they're inside the house. I'm just saying, there's no time to call the cops. Yo, I need help. But by the time they pull up, you done fucked up. So I'm just saying, I'm making decisions from a kid, from 8 years old. I'm making decisions. I'm looking like, yo, I'm going to fly the gangster way. Like I tell you, you watching Scarface, you watching South Central, you know what I mean, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. So I'm mixing it. I'm taking what I want from it. You know what I mean? Old dog a little too much, but I kind of like the other cat. You know what I mean? I take that. I like Ice Cube, but I more like the homie that had the I think he used to suck the popsicle or the bib or something.
Oh yeah.
The big homie, but I was watching him, like, I like how he moved, like, you know what I mean? So I was just collecting game, like, you know what I mean?
No, for sure, man. But so prior to that, you were going straight.
Yeah.
But at the tender age of 8, you lose your father tragically to gun violence. And after that, your whole world changes. So what do? You said you knew by then that you was going to become a gangster. Like, what did you start doing? Like, you just jumped head first in the streets?
I started reacting in school. I started being bad. Not
at 8 years old?
You know, getting in trouble, you know, struggling in passing grades. I passed, but, you know, first marking period failing, second marking period failing, you know, all that I'm going counseling. But I never was counseled right, had the right counseling, because I used to tell people I was all right. But deep down inside, I wasn't all right. I just wanted to get out of their faces, you know what I mean? I don't know them. I don't feel like opening up to you. I don't know you, you know what I mean? One time I told my mom, I don't think I got proper counseling and guidance after my dad died. Like, he died, I gotta watch the neighbor. And I'm seeing him. You know what I mean? And like, I'm a fucking kid, but I'm just saying, you don't know what's running through my mind. But I'm a kid, so I'm seeing this, I'm taking it up, I'm going to the park or the basketball court, I'm watching other kids with their dads. And I'm looking like, yo, where's my dad? Or why my dad had to get taken out? You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and then by 12, I turned into a juvenile delinquent. You know what I mean? They got a place in St. Croix. The Virgin Islands is St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John. St. John is like 14 minutes away on a ferry. St. Croix is like 30 minutes away on a plane. So they send you to the youth camp. You know, when I became a child in need of supervision, a juvenile delinquent. That's what they called it. You know, when you're a minor going to court. You know what I mean? You're a child in need of supervision. So I started to go to youth camps and stuff. You know what I mean? Boys home, you know what I mean? That type of stuff.
Before we even jump into that a little bit more, like what ended up happening with your father's case?
They got thrown out. You know what I mean?
They never
stick. Yeah, it never stuck. You know what I mean? They actually hired a hitman to kill my dad. You know what I mean? But the neighbor, you know, that was involved, whatever they had going on. You know what I mean? But nothing came out of it. I think they just arrested the neighbor. I think somebody else got arrested, you know what I mean? Because this is back 1990. November 15, 1990. I'll never forget it. You know what I mean? It's like yesterday. You know what I mean? But nothing came out of it. The kids, I guess, just sit down a little bit. The kids got thrown out. You know what I mean? But my mom, she got us from there, though. They ended up building a house from scratch. I'll never forget it. You know what I mean? It was a nice experience. I watched a house built from the cistern. In the islands, like, it's different in America. We got cisterns underneath. We catch our rainwater and we collect it. We don't need water bills. You know what I mean? Maybe if you in the hood or some shit, but we don't need water bills. So I watched a house built from the cistern come up to a house, and then we moved in. But we was living in the north side. I had a view, perfect view. 2 islands named Inabras. They private owned islands. But right there, they got beach. You could go over there, fish if you got a boat. But this was my view when I come out my house, Inabras and Outabras Island, you know what I mean? So my mom and them, they got us out of there. I mean, they know it was a fucked up situation, but they got us out of there. We got the house, and but I was done. I was caught. So I was living out there. It was quiet. Ain't really no neighbors out there. You hear a car every 2 hours driving past, like. But I was done connected to the city. You know what I mean? So it's I was driven to the city, you know what I mean? I always, you know what I mean? So I'm not running away from home, shit like that, to go in the city or in the hood. You know what I mean? And I was very educated on my dad, because even from 8 coming up, my mom used to send me to the barbershops, and I used to stop to the blocks and look for the homies, be like, yo, my dad, you know, my dad is Jaquila, you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. And people that tell me about my dad, you know what I mean? Or they tell me like, yo, you need to look for so-and-so, he used to be with your dad, you know, this dude in this Beamer, you know what I mean? RIPC Drake, he was one of my people for my dad. He died, you know, later down in years. But these are people that took care of me, you know what I mean? Like, I got in shit in the street, I got in shit with grown people sometimes, but that was a big homie, so people couldn't touch us because he was coming, you know what I mean? So it was just a lot of high influence, because dad was really a good people, and a lot of people look at it, and a lot of people didn't too. So I'm not going to always make it look like it's just a bed of roses, you know what I mean? Similar to some shit I've seen in America. I won't comment on it, but I'm just saying it's the same shit around the world. You know what I mean? Dad was that nigga, and some people just ain't play their part. And even up to this day, they still ain't played their part. We ain't looking for it, but, you know what I mean? I just wanted to put that out there.
Did you ever think about pursuing the people who were responsible for your father's death?
As a kid, always. But they're not here with us today. So sometimes God fights your battles for you. You know what I mean? I didn't have to do that. You know, whoever was whoever, you know what I mean? They're not here with us today. So.
No, that's 100, man. So you said you mentioned like becoming a juvenile delinquent. Before I even say that, man, like being somebody who knows how it feels to lose somebody, you know, close to you to gun violence. Like, man, is there any like words of wisdom that you can share to anybody watching this who have, who has lost their loved one or a close friend to gun violence? Like how to kind of cope with it.
I can't really give them that full advice.
You still
Why?
coping with
Because
it?
I don't know how it's gonna affect them. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? I got a little kid back home. I love him a lot. Emmanuel. I seen him the other day. I was in the islands. They ain't died by gun violence, but he lost his mom and his dad. So I'm just saying, I don't know how you know what I mean, hold a reasonment with a person like that. All I can say is everything's gonna be okay. And if you need something, I got you. I can't comment, man, because my dad's situation messed me up. I was going counseling and it wasn't helping. People asked me, I was all right, my family, and I told them, yeah, and I wasn't. You know what I mean? Because my mind was done set. Like, when I grow up, I'm gonna fucking be, you know what I mean? So, I'm not trying to be cold with people, but I'm just being honest. I don't know how it would affect them, you know what I mean? But I could just say, like, leave it to God. You know what I mean? Because, in the end, God gonna pull you through. You know what I mean? Whatever, he's not ever gonna give somebody more than they can't bear. You know what I mean? So in that, I leave them with that. Leave it to God. You know what I mean? And just follow the signs, and you know what I mean? It manifests, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Because it's been 30. It's gonna be this year. November gonna make 33 years. My dad is gone.
Is it November 15th?
Yeah, November 15th. You know what I mean? I'll never forget it on a Thursday, but I'm just saying, like, I still think about my dad every day, you know what I mean, and my two brothers, you know what I mean,
So, man, bro, like transitioning, so you went to a youth camp. Around what time would you say that you really started, like, getting out there, like, full-fledged? Like, I don't know if you was hustling, you was playing with guns, you was robbing people.
15, 16.
Like, take us back to that time, bro.
15, 16, I started really, like, getting involved. I started, getting my hands on pistols. Sometimes, like I said, I lived in the hills, so sometimes the homies would give me pistols. You live in the hills, hold that down. You know what I mean? And then I lined back with my brothers. I used to see two of them in my dad's car when they was kids. One of them passed away. One of them locked up, free my little brother, Jabari. I seen one named Jakeem. I see him like once my dad brought him, and I seen him, and it was weird because he was like light skinned, he was red. I didn't know that people could have other kids and they'd be a different tone, texture. So I was like, when I seen him, I was like, I was like, that's not my brother. He's like, yeah, that's your brother. But because he was clear, I'm black, I'm dark, you know what I mean? So we aligned it after I seen him at the funeral, and like 4 or 5 years after, we linked back up. I went to this program, I'll never forget, rest in peace, my brother Keela. I seen him out there, and I came to him, and he looked, like, remember I told you he was a baby when I used to see him, but he got the jeans, I could see it in his face. I came, I was like, your dad died? He's like, yeah. I say, your dad named Jaquila? He like, yeah. I was like, your name Jaquila? He like, yeah. I'm like, yo, I'm your brother. And from there, we locked up. It was an after-school program we used to go to. You know what I mean? For kids who was kind of messing up in school, you know what I mean? Because like I tell you, I was going left. I wasn't going right. And we locked up, man. And we made amends to each other. With me and him, we got other brothers with me and him because we was real tight. We made amends to each other. Like, yo, we gonna tear shit up. You know what I mean? And, we started running the streets. Like we crazy. So, like 15, 16. We had a hood named Savan and Simmons Alley. I used to hang in that hood too because my dad used to be there. And it's crazy because we step in places our dad used to be. So, like, as you step there, you get into stories. Or other niggas in the hood who's big, there's like, yo, don't fuck with them. Them is Jaquila's sons. Like, and then we was cutting up. You know what I mean? So, 15, 16, 17, 18, I got my first shot. I got shot in my leg, got in a big shootout. It was a neighborhood shit. We came over the hill, we was sticking up some niggas, and I got shot. It was some, I didn't go too much detail, but I got shot, you know what I mean? And think what you call it, when I was 19, I got charged with first degree murder. You know what I mean? And I was acquitted for the situation. Eventually sat down for like 2 years. You know what I mean? Got to educate myself some. You know what I mean? Because my mom was always high in education and my stepdad. So when I did time, I didn't let time do me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I flip the time. You know, I work out, I read. You know what I mean? You could tell my physique. You know what I mean? I work out. That's why I do a lot of calisthenics. You know what I mean? You know, being formed, being a, you know, your body's a temple. You know what I mean? So you gotta respect it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot of discipline too. You know, we just wasn't out there just wild, and we had some discipline. You know what I mean? We just wasn't all that. But, you know, the people know at one point we had the island in a chokehold. We was sticking, robbing, shooting anybody. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, at one point in the islands, you know what I mean? We was, you know what I mean, me and my brother. May he rest in peace. You know what I mean? So all this, you know, as we lead up as being a bodyguard, that shit came from home. I was toting pistols from 15, 16 years old. I know how to use them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like trial and error and experience, like
yeah, shootouts, yeah. And then some of the blocks, like a lot of blocks, they had pistols too, but they had like 22s and 32s. Nah, we had 4.5s and 40s. You know what I mean? The 9mm. So we had bigger pistols than, you know, our opponents. So it was crazy, but like I said, the big homies used to take care of us. You know what I mean? My first gun I had was a 38 Special. And my boy, my dad, friend, rest in peace, Cedric, he gave it to me. You know what I mean? To protect myself. 'Cause I had to go in the neighborhood where I don't fuck with niggas with, and he gave me, I told him, I love basketball. You know what I mean? That was my passion too, basketball, but the streets got me caught up. And, you know, we was toting pistols from home, man. And we come up and just like, yes, I got acquitted, I came out, I got humbled, but when you in the streets, you're in the streets. You know what I mean? I couldn't like, all right, I'm gonna be a preacher man and go church and somebody I did something to gonna try to fuck me up. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta keep going. You know what I mean? I'm there. You know what I mean? And then
hold on, I don't want to cut you off too much, but you made two key statements. You said you were 18, 17 or 18 when you got shot.
18.
And then at 19, you were charged for first degree murder.
Yes.
Like.
And what's crazy about it, not to cut you off, I got locked up 2001, November 15th.
The day your father passed away.
So I was like, what the fuck does this mean? You know what I mean?
2000. You said 2001?
2001.
So 11 years later.
Yeah.
What's the odds of that?
Man, I was in there tripping. I was like, wow, what does this mean? And am I like dead too? Like him? Like, you know what I mean? It was on the day he died. I'll never forget it. I was like, you know what I mean? But I still had to hold the faith though. Remain steadfast, you know what I mean? Like I say, work out, read. You got the jailhouse lawyers, you know what I mean? People read your case or hear your case on TV. I never forgot. My dude, Crime, that's my nigga. He came out my cell and pounded the door, going to lock you up for murder. They give you 14 days in a cell with the mouthpiece shut. They open it, give you your food, and close it back. But you stay in there 14 days. It was talking about you need to reflect on what you did, like whatever. But my dude came, he pounded my door. He was like, yo, keep your mouth shut. They ain't got nothing on you. You know what I mean? And that was from him watching. I'm just saying how sharp niggas be with the law. Like that was him watching the news on TV.
So you said you got acquitted. Like, what were you facing though?
Life. Yeah, life.
What made you take it to trial?
The government wanted me. That's how much of a juvenile delinquent, how much of a household name I was in the U.S. Virgin Islands, in St. Thomas. They wanted my head. The system, they just couldn't catch us. You know what I mean? They couldn't, they run up on us, yo, we run, we drive, get away, like, bro, we was relentless, you know what I mean? And this is every day. It's like tomorrow we gonna lay low, we just got in a shootout. Nah, we out with new pistols. We gonna put on them pistols, get some new pistols, yo, call a homie or two. Yo, like I'm just saying, like, not bragging about it, but I'm just expressing to you the life that I used to live. You know what I mean? So yo, broad daylight, get it right. We was on that Mob Deep shit. We was playing that. You know what I mean? That Noriega, New York, get blood money. We running the islands, cash money. BG, playing it raw. Juvenile, I ain't down with no pussy ass nigga, dog. We playing this shit in the islands. And we sliding. You know what I mean? So it's like not bragging on it, but just giving clarity and understand to the ones that don't know me, that see me, you know, in the feel of a bodyguard. They understand where I came from. You know what I mean?
Man, at that point in your life, did you ever deal with fear? Like fear that somebody would take you out, or fear that, you know, you would be locked up forever?
At one point I had doubts, but at the same time, when the system gets you, they take you to trial. And they was dragging me for 2 years. I know that they ain't had no, you know, afterwards you see discovery. But in that, like, nah, it wasn't too much fear. Like, I didn't give a fuck. And it got bad to the point, you know what I mean? Like, God, that's when I had to kind of turn on and not giving a fuck. Because I got stabbed in my belly. I think this was before I went to jail. Yeah, I got stabbed in my belly.
This is after you got shot, though?
Yeah, I think I got shot first, and then I got stabbed. Well, I got stabbed and I got shot.
You got shot where? Where'd you get shot?
I got shot in my leg. Well, it was crazy because I dodged like 15 bullets. And the shot hit me in my leg and it came out my ass.
And it was during the shootout?
Yeah, it was a fucking big ass shootout. And they had me in the hospital for like 4 hours. It was like, it's impossible you got shot in the side of your leg and the bullet came out the top of my ass. It was like, it's impossible. You ain't break nothing. So they was tripping. They had me there, but it was all a blessing though. And then how I know it was 15 shots, I had a revolver, so they couldn't find no shell casing for me. But they came back, they was like, they found 15 shell casings. So that's how I knew, you know, dude clapped 15 shots at me. You know what I mean? But one caught me though. I was dodging them like, you know what I mean? But and then I got stabbed on a boat ride. It was a boat ride. I got stabbed. I got sucker stabbed from a nigga. It was just some bullshit. Somebody from the next one got stabbed by mistake because some niggas was trying to jump me because I whooped the nigga like a week before on the boat ride. A boat ride is like they go on a badge with speakers, nice girls, everybody from the hood, and they playing Calypso. That's the next island gen from my island, you know what I mean? And you go there, you party, sometimes have fights after the boat, shootings, killings, like, you know, like any other club shit. You know what I mean? I got stabbed in my belly, 32 staples. I cut an artery. Yeah, I almost lost my life, you know what I mean? I almost died, but, you know, God pulled me through again. You know what I mean?
And you said, so after all of that, so you survived the shooting, survived the stabbing, then you get locked up for the first degree murder, and you beat that in trial.
We beat that trial. When I got acquitted, Fort Whit me and released immediately. I watched the system. They was mad as fuck. They was so like praying for me to get locked up. You know how a shift comes in for the other shift? The 7 to 3 and then the 3 to 12 comes in. They had 3 shifts upstairs in the jail when we came back up from court. And when we came up, there was like, everybody threw up their hand, and the dude, I'll never forget it, my dude Jevern, that's my boy, he always been my boy. Even though he's a correction officer, he still, you know, was a real G. And he cut his neck. He like, yo, they won the case. And everybody like just dropped their head like in disbelief. They had 2 soldiers though, my boy Leto and Maurice. And they it was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like out of the whole 3 shifts, 2 people. It was like, you know what I mean? So we got acquitted. I stayed up there. I could have caught a case in the system too, because I wasn't supposed forthwith means release immediately. You know, I used to read in jail too, the Black's Law Dictionary. And they took me back upstairs, hold me in an extra night, and released me the next morning, which was some bullshit. Talking about it running for warrants. Like, nigga, I've been up here 2 years. What warrant are you talking about? Acquitted forthwith. That means release immediately. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you know what I mean?
So you get back out, but you charged for killing somebody's, you know, loved one, somebody's relative, sibling. I don't know if they had kids, anything like that. So I'm just imagining, although you got acquitted, somebody's still hurting. Like, how was it going back to your area after that situation? Like, was people kind of gunning for you, or what was the situation?
I had a couple little attempts, but I already know what it was. So when I came out, I always stay strapped. I always strapped. I already know. You know what I mean? Even though the jury, I look at the witness, the guy who came and testified me. I seen him the other day in the islands. I watched him. I just, you know, he watches me, but I watch him and it's like, I can't believe it because I knew you from a long time. He was a gangster at one point. But after he told, like, you're not a gangster in my book, maybe to somebody else, but you're not. He told me, man, I never forget that experience too. I jailed in the same cell with him in the youth camp. We went to school together. You know what I mean? And he came and he testified at me. And when I beat my case, I watched him in the face. You know what I mean? And he dropped his head, but the way he watched me is like, I seen it in everybody's face. Like, fuck what the judge say. You guilty, you know what I mean? So that would always had me on the edge when I came out. One point, me and his dad, the deceased, what was crazy before we talk about that, I came out on the block the next day, and the dude that testified on me, he was in the hood smoking weed.
What?
And when he seen me, he got up. He's like, Josh, Safari, blessings. And then he walked off. My brother, Keela, rest in peace, wanted to say, let's get him. And I was like, nah, leave him alone. His dad was police or a retired cop. So I already know he done ran my name. Anything happened to me, you know, it's going to be, you know what I mean, dreading them. So I tell bro, but I told the niggas in the hood, I was like, I'm disappointed in you niggas. Like, yo, I'd have been in jail doing life right now on the plane going to St. Croix, because I got jail in St. Croix. And then sometimes they send you out to a penitentiary, but you could do your time in St. Croix. You got big-ass jail over there. And I was like, damn, this dude could have sent me away for life, and he's here smoking. I was like, don't you guys read the papers? Because I remembered his name from school and from youth camp. Like I said, we was roommates. So I remember his government name, so when I seen it in the discovery, I knew who he was. You know what I mean? And he came court, you know what I mean? And at one point, I used to see his dad, he used to mean mug me, I used to ignore him. And then one day I had to step to his dad because he was trying to hire some of my homeboys from different hoods. But I tell you, my name was Green, so every gangster from every neighborhood in the islands fuck with us. You know what I mean? Even if I had 1, 2 of the homies in the other hood that they ain't like us, we was fucking with the bigger dog. So we even sometimes come inside your hood and you can't bust a move because we fucking with the bigger dog. I mean, we come correct. You know what I mean? But he went to a couple of my friends and he tried to hire them.
Like hire like somebody
to knock me off.
Like how what happened to your?
You know what I mean? Yeah, for his son. Yeah. And I stepped to him one day. I was going to step to him the same day, but it wasn't the right time because my dude showed me the vibe, so I didn't want to expose him right there. One night I was going home, I seen him, I was like, yo, I got to check him. He probably was strapped. I was strapped too. You know what I mean? Like I said, I always, you know what I mean? Coming up, you toting guns before gun license. You know what I mean? And I checked him. I was like, yo, you can't be going to my dogs and trying to hire people to kill me, bro. Like, I know what the fuck you're doing and you need to stop. I want to right now knock you off. Just like that, I told him. You know what I mean? But I was like, yo, I ain't got nothing to do with that shit with your son. You got your verdict. I beat my case, back off of me. You know what I mean? And he backed off, though. You know what I mean? He backed off, but he tried to go a couple homies from different little blocks. And they were live wires, too. But like I say, them are my niggas. We done put in work together. We done jailed together. I done got him out some shit. He done got me out some shit. So, you know what I mean? We deeper than money. Maybe somebody else would have took the money, but nah. Them were my niggas. You know what I mean? Like back then, I mean, my nigga meant something. Now, I don't know.
Yeah.
But back then, it meant something.
Man, that's crazy, man. So the father was trying to get back.
Yeah, he's trying to get at me.
So how far in between, like, so what's the timeline from you transitioning to, like, America? Because we in the ATL right now. Like, how do you go from the Virgin Islands to U.S. Virgin Islands to...
So I came out, I got acquitted. I was in between the streets a little bit, but out the streets.
Hold on. When you say that in between, like, so what are we talking about here?
I'm like still in the streets.
Like,
I still gotta keep the G code.
Doing
Niggas
what?
could be trying to gun at me.
What you doing?
What you mean? We sticking niggas up on the low, but we just getting smarter with it. We taking licks. You know what I mean? We hustling a little bit, but I was a bad hustler. I ain't even gonna front to you like I was this ultimate hustler. I was a bad hustler because when I get mad, I fuck the money up. You know what I mean? Like, don't give a fuck. Fuck whoever front me this shit. If they want smoke, come and get it. Something like Old Boy and Ting. What you call it? State Property. He was like, fuck you. After he got robbed from Cameron then. Oh, yeah. He's like, yo, fuck you. And, yo, if you watching, like, I was on that shit. When I get mad, like, yo, fuck everybody. I'm keeping this shit. And it was so crazy, like, people would front me shit, but...
Oh, he's on Emilio Sparks. He took the cell phone and all that.
Yeah, and he got sticked up. And then he was like, yo, fuck everybody, like, you know what I mean? So I get like that sometimes. So I wasn't no good hustler. But, you know, I do my little thing, but I'm more used to stick people up.
And we talking about, like, Bareface with a
Yeah,
mask.
bareface. You know what I mean? I mean, if you like, I'm not no bank shit. I wasn't in that high profile type of shit. But I mean, street shit.
Was it petty, or did you come across like some big licks?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You come in sometimes people's houses and come in big licks. You know what I mean? It was always stick up. We stick people up. You got some jewelry on. I take your shit. You know what I mean? Straight up. Jump out. What's up? Go to jewelry store tomorrow. Fix the catch because I yank your chain off. We call it a claw. Once I stick this out, your chain coming off your neck. You don't fuck what you got on. I might tear my hand up a little bit, but bro, your shit is coming off. Or we gonna hold you down and fuck you up. So I was in and out, but not ting. I was more, I won't say a crime boss, but I was behind the scenes though. Every now and again I get physical though. You know what I mean? But I had this older chick I was messing with, so you know, like I wasn't like other people. Like I was more into gangster shit, so I wasn't really not. I'm not gay or anything or funny like that. But I didn't care about no girls. I just go by the whole house, pay for some pussy boot. I'm cool. I ain't had no girl like, hey, that's my baby. Like nah. So I was like, I remember we used to go carnival sometime, and my homeboys used to tease me because all of them got girls. I'm on the side like, yo, where the fuck these niggas at? Where the smoke at? Like. Bro, and they used to laugh at me. They used to be like, oh, you got sand in your balls because all them niggas had kids and shit. I ain't had no kids, you know what I mean? So, they get together, crack jokes. I'm afraid of girls and, you know what I mean? But, yo, I was on that gangster shit, bro. Like, I was dedicated to it, so I didn't care about that shit. So I came out, I met an older chick, you know what I mean? She was putting that shit on me, yeah. And, that's something I'm transitioning. I'm trying to be, a cool guy, regular, but I still got that name. And still I got brothers, so they doing shit. So when they do shit, niggas is looking at me. So I'm out, but I'm still in. So yeah, like coming up, you know what I mean? So I was trying to be, cool. Like I was wild, man. You know what I mean? I ate and street stuff. Like we'd be home watching Scarface. Like we'd be home watching Shotters. We'd be home watching Mark Fredette. Like I'm just saying, we watching these movies and being educated from stuff. You know what I mean? We see the good and the bad with it, so we took it in, you know what I mean? We did lose people in the struggle too. I had a mad team, but a lot of my friends today, they're not here with us. They gone, they blown in the wind, you know what I mean? Probably like 1, 2 good handful of soldiers still around, but they on a different vibe, you know what I mean? They live in a different life, you know what I mean? But a lot of my homies I ran with in the islands, they're not here with us today.
man, how many people would you say, like friend-wise, like people you was actually running with in the streets that you've lost to gun violence, or just lost in general?
Man, a lot, bro. That shit is sad. That shit is
You
sad.
talking about like more than a dozen?
10, more than 10. And homies, guns, because they was wilding. They was relentless. And like my mom always told me, you think you hard, they always got somebody harder than you. But some people got different coolers, you know what I mean? A guy cooler might be a girl. A guy cooler might be a new car. A guy cooler might just be dead. A guy cooler might just be shot up a couple times. You know what I mean? In close calls, but everybody got a cooler. It's just, what is it? You know what I mean? So when I came out, I met this older chick, you know what I mean? And she, like I said, she was killing me with it. So I ain't really had no time for the streets. But at the same time, I was mature when it was time to mature. She's an older chick, so I can't be around her with no little boy shit. You know what I mean? So I was growing up, but I still was in the streets, so, you know what I mean?
So you talked about getting shot the one time where it came out, it went through your leg, came out your ass. So what's the other? So the other time? What was the next time you got shot?
I got shot 9 times.
When was that?
That was in the islands. That was
This was after the first degree murder.
I got acquitted. Yeah, I got acquitted 2003. I think 2004 is when it happened. Yeah, February 14th.
Hold on. So you got shot before the murder charge. You got shot after the murder charge.
Yeah. So this 10 times now, because the one, and then the one time I got the 9 shots.
What's the story behind that?
It was over a gamble game. You go too much depths in it, but he was gambling. The guy was losing before I came. He was losing bad. I guess it cleaned out his whole check from him. And our pool was big. It wasn't that big, but it was a little change. And I threw the dice out at somebody's foot who wasn't in the game. And I was like, that's no dice. You know, like I stand on principle. That's no dice. You know what I mean? And we was there laughing, yeah, or you lost and whatever. And I was like, nah, that's no dice. And he was like, he didn't want to give me my money. I was working up the street in a body shop. I had a pistol up there. Like I tell you, I still had a pistol. And I went and got my pistol, and I came back and I sticked him up. You know what I mean? I took everything from him. I was robbing for his chains. He had some chains on. He had some money. I stuck him up. And what you call it? I was ignorant too, because when I sticked him up and I robbed him, I had no way of leaving the area. I'm in his hood. I'm from the city. I'm not from the country. I ain't got no phone. Can't call my homies. No backup. No nothing. Rest in peace, my boy Poopa Slim. He came to my dude, but I dropped my guards. That was my fault, though. I don't blame my boy. But I'm just saying, if the next guy is here want to reason with you, and two, you got pistols, I'm going to take one of you guys' pistols. So if you try to pull your pistol, I can hold you until the next man get the fuck out of here. But if two of you got pistols, I can't say nothing, because if you shoot, he going to shoot. So I dropped my guards there. I told my dude disarm him. He wanted to talk to me. But I was so, like, ignorant. He was like, can I have my jewelry back? I was like, nah, fuck that. I asked you for my money. You didn't want to give me my money. Now I came to this. Now I took everything. Fuck you. You know what I mean? I was smoking a joint. Being ignorant, he's standing in front of me, like where the camera is. And I could see, like, yesterday, like, I turned my head. I was smoking. I never forgot, because the joint got stick in my hand. I had burn marks. I never forgot. I had a lot of grays and stuff in my hand. They went away now. But, and I turned my head. I took my joint, yo. And all I heard was shots. Pow, pow, pow. You see, he act like he was walking off, and he spin around. He spin around with his pistol and started shooting me. So, like, the first 3 shots, 4 shots that hit me, I got him in my belly. And I'm watching him with his eyebrows looking like a devil. And I've seen people shot guns before, but I never seen nobody poke their hand and shoot a gun. That's what he was doing. And my vibes is like, you know, in the split of a second, my vibes like, what you gonna do? You gonna stand there? You need to get up and do something. So I got up, I turned on the side, so I got, you know, you see the bullet holes in my hand. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't new to this shit. You know what I mean? I turn around and I use my hand for a shield. You know what I mean? Because I had a pistol on me too. And I had to get my pistol out. I'm left-handed, but I'm not left-handed. I'm right-handed. But all when I got the shots in my hand, I just automatically use my left hand. My right hand, I never try to use it. I mean, it was broken by the time. I don't know why. I guess I knew I took the shots and my hand was fucked up. But I'm not left-handed, so I'm shooting at dude. You know, it's not over. It's 9 shots I got now. And I'm up, and he fucking opened his eyes wide because he want to know, like, how the fuck is you still standing up? I just bust you 9 shots. Nigga, we going in it. Bow, bow. He ducking, I'm ducking. But I'm 9 shots in. I'm bleeding hand. I look down, I see my bones sticking up, blood running out my belly and my leg. I feel blood in the back. I was shot the fuck up. So I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? I'm taking the shots to the belly, very vital. I'm fucked up. We shooting out back and forth, back and forth. And we like distance and we're still shooting at each other and shit. And you hear the sirens coming and you know, we took off because he had to go. Ain't nobody trying to go to jail and shit. I mean, I had to go to hospital. You know, rest in peace, my boy Poopa Slim. He took me to the hospital. And, you know, I got to the hospital. I went in there, like I said on Camp Capone, I walk in like a general because I've been stabbed before and I've been shot. So now, it's not about being gangster now when you're bleeding. It's about how close you are to God. And, you know what I mean, how well are you conditioned. You know what I mean? I never forget when I got stabbed in my belly. I cut an artery in my belly. I had 32 staples in my belly. The guy was from America. I forgot his name, the doctor. He stayed till the next morning till I revived, caught myself. And he came and he shook my hand. He said, I just wanted to shook your hand. He said, you're a very lucky dude, man. He said, you work out? I said, yeah. He told me, he said, don't ever stop working out. He said, the endurance of your body makes you endure the surgery. I'll never forget them words, dog. So I probably was supposed to die in the surgery. But he told me, he stayed till the next morning. He came, he shook my hand, yo. You know what I mean? So, you know, life educates you. You know what I mean? And you got to be educated from shit that happened. You know what I mean? So I learned to condition myself. You know, I'm just saying, God forbid, if I was to get shot 4 or 5 times right now, I'm not going to panic. I'm gonna doctor pull off a shirt. Hey yo, get me to a hospital. But I'm gonna condition myself until I get there. You know what I mean? I can't panic. I can't. You know what I mean? I can't get mad because you get mad, your blood gonna start running out more. You know what I mean? So, you know, I got to the hospital. I checked out the hospital earlier because I want to get the dude back. I think I stayed in there 2-3 days. I was in intensive care, and I checked out the hospital. I was like, fuck that, we gonna ride. Like, even though I got my one hand, yeah. I had a stick. My fucking, my brother was in youth camp, I think. That's why that motherfucker got away, because I didn't check out in time, but he flew out.
The guy who shot you?
Yeah, he flew out the islands, because the word spread on the streets, you know what I mean? And then he flew out after he seen the police report. I don't know who shot me. It's nothing to talk about. Yeah, me and the cops had it out in the hospital. Gun violence is not the way, Mr. Elms, you know what I mean? That's my government last name. It's not the way. I'm like, yo, fuck you. I don't have to tell you shit, you know what I mean? But I done got my mind made up. I'm gonna check out this motherfucker in 2 days and we gonna slam this nigga. But, you know, he flew out and, you know, I never seen him again, you know what I mean?
Did you have any interactions with him prior to that whole altercation?
A couple of times.
But y'all wasn't like
He's
cool
kind of told me a couple of times he know my dad, but he was a different kind of cat. Like most people, not belittling him, but a lot of people that knew my dad, they still was into shit. So when they speak, it's stuck then. Like, you know what I mean? And then when they're in the process of telling me you know my dad, they'd be like, yo, hold that. I'll fuck with you. You know what I mean? You'll make yourself some money, you know what I mean? So not that he wasn't nobody, but I'm just saying, you know, him, you know, it didn't really stick with me. And that didn't cause me to judge him, but I'm just saying, yes, I've seen him a couple of times.
I got you. So he was older than you.
Yeah, he's an older cat. Yes, he's an older man. Dude, he probably could have been old enough to be my dad.
Wow.
Did me that shit. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, you know, we in the streets. Got different players, different sizes, you know what I mean? Different shapes. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, I don't think you finished answering the question when I asked you about like what led you to America.
Okay.
Like what led you to Atlanta in particular? You know what I'm saying?
My brother died. My brother Blocks, Jaquila, he's a junior. He was named after my dad.
The one who you said that was light skinned that you oh, that's somebody else.
That's Jakeem.
Oh, I thought you said Jakeem.
See, a lot of us, like in the islands, we call God Jah. So a lot of our names, like my government name is Ginja. My brother named Jamal, Jakeem, Jabari, Jaquila. You check Jah. That's something you're always going to notice in the islands. People got a J-A-H in the names, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Janai. So you hear different names, but it's just like a dread thing. That's all it is, you know what I mean? So that's why you hear so much Ja, you know what I mean? But that's Jakeem I'm talking about, the high yellow one, you know what I mean? But Jaquila, that's a junior, he was dark like me. You know what I mean? He died, he came to Atlanta, he died, he got killed in a club in Club Chocolate. You know what I mean? So I gave up everything. I was in a relationship. I quit my relationship. I quit my job. You know, 'cause I was trying to be a good nigga, you know what I mean? I was going to work. I was working on construction for a pipe company. You know, I was, you know, doing the right thing now, you know what I mean? But still on the edge, though, because niggas are creepy, though. The islands is different, and it's small. It's not like America. I could go hide out in North Carolina, South Carolina, or I'm going to hide out in Valdosta or Savannah. Like, nah, it's small. So even if I'm the ops and I don't see you, somebody gonna pick up the phone and be like, yo, this nigga right here, right now. You know what I mean? So it's different in the islands. There's nowhere to hide. You have to face your reality, like whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I came up on, bro died in a Club Chocolate. And, you know, I came for get back. Like, yo, fuck kill my brother. You know what I mean? In the process of that, I came up to America. And I'm meeting this chick from Boston. We got kids. We got 3 daughters. You know what I mean? So like the Bible tells you, a righteous man plans, but God directs his steps. My steps was directed somewhere else, you know what I mean? Still looking for old boy, but he used to be hiding and shit, so, you know what I mean? It's hard.
So what was the story that you received before you came up?
I mean, bro did some coward shit and shot my bro, you know what I mean? And
why you say coward? Coward.
Yeah, it was some coward shit. Like he was running and stuck his hand back, you know what I mean? And it was bullet ricochet and it went to my bro heart. You know, we've been shot before. So when he died from one shot, it was like a mystery. Because he been shot a couple times. I've been shot 10 times. Like, you know what I mean? We gonna pull through. You know what I mean?
Did they let you know like what led to the altercation?
Not too much. I ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't know the fullness, but at that point I didn't care. Because, you know, when somebody die, it's different. You know what I mean? That's why I don't play with death. I don't wish death on people. You know, I carry a gun for a living, but I don't play with guns. You know what I mean? It's weapons of destruction. You know what I mean? So I don't play with that shit. I carry that shit because people got guns. So I'm not going to be out there without a gun. I'm going to defend myself. There's no better protection than having something to protect yourself than not having something. Then you like a scary movie. You screaming, you run, oh my God, you trying to jump through the top floor. I'm just saying, you're scratching for your life, but that was never my take. I'd rather have me something. And we both could lay down the grill. I tell you, say your prayers. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But that's what I live by. You know, sometimes even in the field as a bodyguard, sometimes I tell some of them young niggas, like, yo, you dig a hole for me, dig one for yourself. Yeah, nigga, raw like that. You dig one for yourself, too. What you think, you gonna shoot somebody and leave out of here? Nah, baby boy, you gonna lay down with me. And sometimes it don't have to be like that, but sometimes you gotta talk that shit, though, and stand on it. And some of them look at you like you crazy, like, what the fuck he just said? Nah, but it's real. You dig a hole for me, dig one for yourself. It's written in the Bible, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. Eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I'm not running up in this shit like I'm that nigga, but I'm on principle. And principles and always outweigh people with no principles. Just like experience always gonna overthrow unexperienced people. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm principles. So I'm not just here because of me and I'm that nigga. Nah, I live by the code of God first and foremost. You know what I mean? I live by that, and you know what I mean? But yeah, bro passed. I came, I got 3 daughters, Trinity, Faith, Grace. Yeah, they're my world, man. They're my girls. You know, that's what I do this bodyguarding shit for. You know, to take care of my girls. You know what I mean? So life changed a little bit. I ended up turning a family man. I'm getting married and stuff. You know, and I started to get into corporate America because now I got family now. You know, she was an older chick than me.
So you ended up coming over for revenge.
Yeah.
And it blossomed into you unexpectedly.
Hey. Because I was told as a kid, I'm die young, I'm not going to be nothing, all that shit. So when I got my first daughter, it was like, wow. You know what I mean? Life changed, you know what I mean? Like, she came, you know, that's me, connect your mom, bam, a baby, you know what I mean? Because like I tell you, all my brothers, all them, they had kids before me, all my homies. So I started late being a father, you know what I mean? A lot of my friends, sometimes we get into it, not strong, but it was because they were more mature than me. They had families. I ain't had no family. I didn't give a fuck. I go, while out. If I'm tired, I pull up in a cut someday, probably in my car, and go sleep. I don't have nobody to go home to. Nobody calling like, where you is? Where you coming home? Like, I didn't care. Like, you know what I mean? Or I go by the homie and crash. You know what I mean? Or in the islands, we call them shanties. We build a little structure house in the bush, and that be the spot. You know, I feel like going home, I go to the spot, but I had nobody to go home to. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I wasn't as mature as I am now. Like I tell you, I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So how did you get into like bodyguarding?
It started from home because I was toting pistols, and I used to go youth camp a lot. So when I came back out, I was always bigger than my peers. I went there working out push-ups. Like I tell you, when I went in youth camp, the guys was big. So you had no choice but to look at them and get big. So I started working out, go sit down 4, 6 months, 9 months, you know what I mean? And I come back out, always bigger.
What was your workout regimen like when you was in
sets of 25, diamonds, back arms, pull-ups, you know what I mean? Sets of 50s, you know what I mean? We started up it as you get stronger. We start like my regimen right now, I do 4 sets of 50s.
What?
And then I bang the gym. Yeah. 11 bullet holes. We still banging. But like I tell you, your body's a temple. You know what I mean? Your body's a temple, so I bang. I be in the gym like 2 hours, almost 3 hours. Because after that, that's what I break in with, the push-ups. You know what I mean? I just don't, I do them, I walk around, I stretch, you know what I mean? Drop again, you know what I mean? But it's a mind over matter. my body telling me no, but my mind telling me let's go. You know what I mean? So faith is the evidence of things not seen. So we rolling on faith. You know what I mean? Or I challenge myself. I don't do these 50. I'm going to hell. Who wants to go to hell? You know what I mean? So I'm just saying I corner my body and I push it to the next level. And this is after being fucked up. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, but you know, I got a job to do. I got to be on point.
No, for
you know
sure.
what I mean? So.
Sure. So you say you always was cut up, so that's how you got into a bodyguard?
Yeah, that's how I always been like the defender then. And I always good with my hands. See a lot of these bodyguards, they on steroids, or they got guns, like, I don't need a gun. If niggas ain't had a gun, man, I would run a clinic in this rap shit. Cause they can't fight. They're just big and swole. They ain't got no moves. But they're big on top and they ain't got no legs. Nah, I learned to fight from getting beat up, dog. So imagine what type of fighter I am. I seen every trick in the book. I know how to counteract, I know, you know what I mean? I know a lot of stuff. I'm not flattering on myself, but I know how to fight. You know what I mean? And I'm not afraid of a fight. You know what I mean? Even to the bodyguard was talking about me, I told him the other day, 20K. Let's fight for 20K. Since you're so dreadful and terrible and nigga, let's fight for 20K. Nigga, I'll knock you the fuck out. You know what I mean? I don't need no gun. Like, I have guns because people got guns, but I don't need weapons. Nah, we get down.
So you say you started in the islands though?
Yeah, I started in the islands, so like not legally, but around the homies, I was always the big one.
He was the muscle.
Yeah, I remember I came out when I made 18. Man, I came out swole, and I had a ball head. I always had hair in my head. Everybody was freaking out, like looking at me like nigga, like, cause I'm looking like an adult. But I'm 18 years old. You know what I mean? I remember walking down the street. Women, that's why them cougars start pulling up on me, cause. You know what I mean? I look like a beast, you know what I mean? And take what you call it, I'll never forget my boy Jadis, yo. He was a man in the neighborhood. They hit this guy, they had millions of dollars. You know what I mean? That's why I tell you, the odds is different. They hit this guy and they got millions of dollars, bro. And he used to be in the hood turning up. I never forget it. Master P song came out, Hootie Hoo.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And we was playing that shit. And Dr. Dre shit was out too, with Slim Shady.
Oh yeah.
Dum, bro. We was rocking, and I want American people to understand we playing this shit in the islands. You know what I mean? He's like, big brother, you rolling with me for the rest of the day. Because he called me, I came out big, he took me to the mall, he got me some shoes. Yo, we went to the club, they put on that Master P Hootie Hoo. Nigga, they had to call a SWAT team. We call them SOBs in the islands. The son of a bitch is what they call them for short, but they call them SOB for short in the islands, but that's a jump out squad. Them niggas had to come up in the club and tell us chill the fuck out. Nigga, we was wilding out. And bro, ain't nobody could put their hands on me, and I could fight. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know, go back to the islands, people that tell you, yo, like dread, like come on, man, that's money in the bank. You know what I mean? So I built my respect, not only from my dad, but hands-on. I was hands-on too. You know what I mean? I took L's, I got shot, I got fucked up, and guess what? It's the same way. It's a cycle. I fuck niggas up and they fuck me up too. That's just the way it goes, you know what I mean? So having to train at home with the pistols, use of firearms, I started doing classes. I went and got the sharpshooting license. My trainer, he asked me where I shoot at. The state wanted a 240, I got a 238. It was like, wait, he stopped me. He said, where you shoot at? And I had to learn, not going into that with my left hand, when they're testing you to shoot with your firearm, because you're being certified for the firearm you have. So if you're carrying a 9, you're going to be certified for that. I had a Glock 22. I got big hands, so I got the Glock 22. That's a long 40 caliber. So I got the state one of the 240. I got a 238, a 96 on my shooting test. But they tap you, and you got to shoot with your hand. You got to shoot, and I stopped. I was like, I'm not left-handed. I can't shoot. He said, well, if you want to pass this test, you better shoot with your left hand. And I waited for a while, not too long, probably like 10 seconds. And I hold up my hand and I took a deep breath and holding my breath. Yo, that shit was a bullseye, bro. He looked at me, he said, all right then. And you know, I started shooting with my left hand, like, you know what I mean? But I got a legal bodyguarding license, I got the concealed weapon license. And it's so much tough to achieve as a bodyguard. So he taught me to always be like, tell people you're a bodyguard in training. because there's so much credentials. They got the blue card, they got this, they got the federal where you can board the plane with your firearm, and they got so much credentials you can get. So he taught me like that, like just say you're in training, you're still obtaining. So I got the main three though. They got others, but I got those. I could wear my firearms. If I'm working right now, I could wear my firearms outside. If I'm working right now, I could wear holster while I pump gas in front of cops, you know what I mean? So when I got that, and then I started shifting, I was doing clubs, you know what I mean? The clubs was ups and downs because they always wanted me to be mad aggressive. And that's not, like I say, if somebody who's been through something, they're not loud. I don't need to be loud. I don't need to be an asshole. You know what I mean? I don't need to make noise because it's there, but if we need to go left, I go left. But I'd rather go right. See, a cop taught me, he said, your job is to disengage, not to engage with people. So, you know what I mean? I'd rather talk to you first then. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey man, well, sometimes me and people get into it as a bodyguard, they try to walk up on my client and I run up and they be like, hey man, I'll be like, hey, I say, picture me opening your trap house door and ask you, where's the plug? I say, all you niggas gonna pull guns at me. And it's so funny, sometimes they laugh, they be like, Dre, you right. Or picture me just walk up on your block, hey yo, where the nigga at? Niggas gonna draw pistols. So it's no different, you coming at my client, you know what I mean, it's entering a castle. Or I tell him sometimes be on some Brucey shit, nigga, enter the 36 chambers. What's up? You know what I mean? It's 36 chambers you gotta go through to get to the master, but you gotta enter. You know what I mean? But like, it's just simple. But I came up, I started doing clubs. I had an experience from home with pistols, so I was fearless already. And I found this job online. I read between the line. It was like unbelievable job opportunity. Call now. I was on Craigslist, but it wasn't just like. Because I watched some people criticize the story like, oh, look where it was. Like, nah, Craigslist is gold. You know what I mean? Sometimes your blessings is found in the simplest of places. Because wisdom is found in the simplest of places. And I had wisdom. It said, whoever conceal a weapon and travel out of town, call now. It was All-Star Weekend Saturday in Orlando. I knew that was a rapper or a celebrity. Somebody wanted muscle. So I called it. But I was overqualified, concealed. I got a legal license to conceal the sharpshooting. Bam. The guy was like, oh, you got the documents right now? I said, yeah, I got them. And he came down, did an interview. And he was like, it's young Jeezy. And I didn't went to Orlando with him. The next week I went on a tour though. It's a world tour. So that was my first tour, my first client, young Jeezy.
So the guy approved it, but do you actually meet with Jeezy before everything's a go, or you just go straight on the tour?
Straight on the tour. I actually met Clem first, because Clem was like a doorway to Jeezy. Like, you couldn't just walk in the back of Jeezy and Clem be like, hey, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? But that's his job, though. You know what I mean? So I really met Clem first. I met Jeezy, of course, because we got to go on the stage. But, you know what I mean? Take what you call it. I remember Clem. I met Clem. Clem was with Jeezy, too. You know what I mean? And Clem, they gangsters, and there's different type of gangsters. A gangster don't always have to be a person shooting a gun. A gangster could be somebody just keeping the fucking G code all the way, every day, all the time. I'm just saying, and you have that respect. You know what I mean? And so I had a respect for Clem too. Like, Clem was cool. You know what I mean? But the job was for one person. So picture me working from the islands. The guy that hired me, he hired two of his friends. So he was never rooting for me to get the job. They was like, the job is open for one person. But they took us on a tour. It was like a test run. See, he gonna manifest. He was rooting for his other dudes, and I'll never forget it. I used to stand up by myself, and everybody used to watch me. Because I don't move with the crowd. You know what I mean? I stand on myself. My mom taught me that. Only wolf lie in packs. I'm a lion, dog. So that's what drew Jeezy to me. Because I was dolo. Shout out my nigga Stone, because he's from St. Croix. That's the other part. That's where Tim Duncan is from. You know what I mean? Let's highlight the Virgin Islands some more. Allie of Boston, who just went into the women NBA, she's from St. Thomas. And Tim Duncan is from St. Croix. My boy Stone, he's from St. Croix. So he had a love for me, being from the islands. So he used to look out for me. So he more became my mentor than the bodyguarding dude. You know what I mean? Because he was gunning for his friends to get hired. He didn't want me to get hired. So I used to roll dolo like I told you. I had my pistol on me. I got my mitts. I know how to carry myself. So Jeezy them used to always watch me.
What do you mean when you say watch you?
When I say watch, they're observing me. They watching because we the new security. So every fucking move you make, they watching. You know what I mean? Because this is a gangster rapper.
So it wasn't necessarily like watching how you respond to situations.
Yeah, everything. They watching everything. You got any manners? You got any respect? You know what I mean? They watching everything. This is what gangsters do. The simplest of things gonna tell me who you are. So that's why you gotta be careful who you're entertaining because people are watching you. You know what I mean? A bum can I have $1, please? We know you got over 20 bands in your pocket. Nah, fuck you, get out of here. That tells me who you are. You give a fuck how much time you gave a bum money. You know what I mean? You got 20 bands in your pocket. That's nothing. You know what I mean? So that tells me who you are, though. The simplest. You ain't always gotta be the big shit. So they always watch me because I was by myself.
As much as you can remember, what was the experience, you know what I'm saying, when the first time you met Jeezy? And around what year is this, you know?
This is 2012 when I got aboard with CTE. I got it right here too, by the way. Yes, got my CTE brand.
It's official.
Yes. 2012, March 3rd, 2012, my conquest started as a bodyguard with Young Jeezy. It was cool. You know, he's a cool guy, you know what I mean? In the end, I don't know what went wrong, though, or where we went left at, you know what I mean? But, you know, he's a cool guy. I really got close to him when the end of the tour. And Clem tried to stop me. Well, not try to stop me, but Clem like, hey, what you want? I was like, let me holler at Young. He's like, what you want to holler at Young for? I was like, yo, I need to tell him, you know, thank you for the opportunity because I'm coming from a small island into a world of competition. They got thousands of bodyguards. But I was picked, you know what I mean? So it's a blessing and I'm, you know, embracing it, you know what I mean? So I came and I told him, you know, like I shook his hand and I guess I gave him a good vibe. He was on the phone too, so I guess I gave him a good vibe. And then when I reached home, they called me the next day. They started doing studio. So work, I really, you know, after the 30-day run, I made the money, but yeah, the studio, and I started meeting them in Atlanta in the studios. Patchwork, there's so much I don't remember, excuse me, but as we started going studio.
What are you doing at the studio?
Just security, watching, making sure nobody walk in his session, you know, no bullshit, you know, just looking out for the bullshit. Or just setting the tone, you know, that's our job as bodyguards too. Not just to, you know, rah, 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 you know, but to set the tone. Our job is to come and gather intel, understand what's happening around right now. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, if some don't know, that's your job. To disengage and to gather intel, understand what's going on around you. You know what I mean?
Mm. Any crazy moments when you was working in the studio with him? Like,
one crazy moment, I don't know who he was. Some dude tweeted on Twitter, I just seen Jeezy or some shit and he's moving scared. Some shit. And they called us. We came in and we went in his session and we made him take that shit down. Yeah, Jeezy like, take that shit down, nigga. Fuck you talking about? You know what I mean? And you know, security, we was there, entourage too. And we was gonna fuck him up. But yeah, he twittered some shit. He just seen Jeezy and he's scary. Some weird shit he twit. But, you know, they be having people all over on Twitter, watching Instagram, you know what I mean? People just be on social media looking.
And the shit share that stuff too, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we in the studio, and we just seen the dude, and, yo, we went to this fucking session.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we went to the session, and he took it down, though. He ain't talking about shit. We don't fuck him up, you know what I mean? Just saying, you know what I mean?
What about like any crazy tour stories? Like going on tour with him? Jeezy?
I don't get into too much detail though. We wrote a couple of promoters and shit before, you know what I mean? A rapper, promoter, security, like you name it, you know what I mean? Had to get in some asses, you know what I mean? I don't want to touch too much in it, but you know, it had more significant stories than those, you know what I mean? Those was like, it was like catwalks to me, like a regular day, you know what I mean? 8 to 5, oil change the filter right quick, you know what I mean? Shit like that, so. You know what I mean? It was just like a regular day to me. You know what I mean? This is why you're here, though. You know what I mean? You're the first call. Just like you watch movies with kings. Like, you see the king, you see the queen, you see the soldier, though. The finest sword, the finest wares, you know what I mean? Because that nigga gonna spill blood. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's how it was. Like, it was cool, but, you know, shit happened in the end, and like, I'm telling you guys my life so you understand where I came from. Like, I'm not just like these corporate fucking bodyguards. Even though I'm in a corporate, I came from the streets. Some bodyguards are ex-police, they're ex-Marines. I'm ex-street. You know what I mean? And I think the ones that come from the street has a clearer understanding. Cops kind of though, because cops deal with the streets. But I'm actually from the streets. You know what I mean? So there's a major difference. You know what I mean? So
How did your life change, man, like once you got down with CTE and started like working like full time with Jeezy, man, as a bodyguard?
a lot of things change. Like, you know what I mean? The good, the money, a bodyguard, like you said, you asked me if it was like lucrative. Like, yes, it is. Once it's making sense though. You know what I mean? By the time I graduated, I stopped hustling. This is the first corporate job. It was fucked up, but you know what I mean? I got to work with what I get till I get what I want. I was getting 150 on tour.
150 a day?
Yeah, which is supposed to be more, but average Joe is not making that. Some people are making, you know, I'm at the point I'm making 500-600 a day. I'm making what people making a week in a day. You know what I mean? By the time, it was weird though, but the bodyguard nigga, the whack ass nigga, he was taking off of us. You know what I mean? That's why it was 150. So Jeezy probably was paying more, but he was cutting out our pay, so he was taking something out of the money. You know what I mean? And then when I got in, was getting $200. And you know, as we lead up, I'll tell you like shit they ain't changed. All of that, the money ain't changed. Like you know, as we get on, I'll tell you some shit that took place, but the money ain't changed. So it was time for me to elevate.
How long did you work with him?
I ran with Jeezy 5.5 years.
And you were stuck at $200 a day?
Yup. Even after getting shot.
Man, so like, I know you said like some of the questions I asked you, I mean as far as like some of the incidents at the studio and just generally speaking, you said those was like catwalks. Like what's some serious stuff that happened?
2012 BET Awards, Jeezy and Rick Ross, you know what I mean?
Take us back to that time.
And there's no shots to Rick Ross. Maybe if Jeezy handled his business, I wouldn't be speaking on these stories. But 2012 BET Awards, they try to tint the whole shit. We was walking in the back of the hallway, Rick Ross and Jeezy, they ran into each other. I was in the middle of two of them, and I kind of, not blame Ross, but you blame two of them because Jeezy reaction is what made it elevated. He's like, nigga, what's up? And Ross stopped and he's like, what's up? And Jeezy's like, what's up? And he's like, what's up? I'm in the middle, I'm watching though. But I'm watching to see who's gonna strike first, because whatever happens, I gotta react. And Jeezy tone changed. He's like, nigga, you know what the fuck is up. So when I heard that, alright, then I rise up. We getting ready to go. And Rick Ross took a deep breath. I don't know what he was gonna do. I'm not gonna say he wasn't gonna do anything though, because I'm not here to dethrone him. He's a fucking millionaire. You know what I mean? So that's not my job. I'm just telling you my story, what happened when I was there. He stepped up though. He took a deep breath. When he stepped up, he had to face me though, to get to Jeezy. And when he stepped up, I yanked his chains off. You know what I mean? It wasn't professional, I admit that. But I was transitioning from the streets into corporate America. So a little bit of street is still in me. And I looked at it, if I put my hands in it, if I punched him, bust his lip, bust his eye, I'm just saying, he would want to hurt me. He would want to kill me. So if I fucking took your chains and fuck you up, it's the same thing, but the only thing I come up with chains, I get some collateral, some money. Like, I'm from the island. I'm on some pirate shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, but, you know, so I yanked the chains off. They parted the hallway. He said we was in the hallway with cops. We wasn't with no cops. He just had mad security because the BET Awards. You know what I mean? That's all it was. We had our security. We had a small team, but we just had more people than Rick Ross. That happened. The cops parted the fight. We got a video you see, the TMZ. I tripped up. That was me tripped up on the mirror. When you hear the glass, I tripped up on somebody. But I was trying to, first time wearing a blazer, a suit, I didn't know you got break in the pockets. So I was breaking in my pockets to to put the chains away because the cops was there. Because I was like, the canary diamonds, yellow diamonds, red diamonds, blue diamonds, and I had a gold chain. So I was like, yo, I came up. After work, I'm going to sell this shit. I'm going to buy a house. This is what I'm thinking. Because I'm in it for the win. I'm not just in it, like, you know what I mean? So we left. We went outside. I say, fuck that. We tell this story, we tell it correct, and we tell it for real. We inspired fucking Gunplay getting his ass whooped. Because when I went to to get the car, I ran into Jeezy's entourage with some Crip niggas, like 30 of them niggas from Macon. And I seen them, I was like, yo, where you niggas was? I said, yo, we just fucking fucked up Rick Ross. And it was like, what? I was like, yo, I just took all these chains. I was like, come on. But when I was running back with the niggas, Jeezy was there talking to 50. You understand? This is after the Rick Ross shit, so they probably labbing, what just happened. And we went running. If you watch the tape to the end, you're going to hear my voice and see me. I tell everybody slow down because the cops was like, no. Nigga, we was coming like 40 deep. I'll never forget that shit. That shit was like a magical moment because I come running with the Crips and Jeezy seen us and he came and he ran up and he took off his chains, he gave them to me and we was running coming to the door and the cops was like, yo, hold up. So we ain't get in. They went there. I went for the truck, but I came around the corner kind of hella aggressive. But I'm saying they're drilling and rushing. You know what I mean? But I want to get my pistol because I yanked Rick Ross chains. I need my pistol. You know what I mean? It's just saying the biggest boss. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, I'm not here to downplay nobody, but in actuality, this is your reaction. I can't yank his chains and be like, oh, it's all good. I'm going to just walk freely. Like, nah, nigga, you better get up in your shit. So, when I came around the corner, the cops, they jumped out at me. When I jumped out of the car, they ran up at me. They was like, freeze! I'm like, freeze? What the fuck? I got an earpiece in. I got a walkie-talkie. I'm in a blazer. I never forget my client, the bodyguard that hired me and his friends was laughing at me because I had on some J's, the Space Jam J's. Yeah, I had some J's on, but I'm athletic. I don't wear boots fucking every day. I don't like leather too much. It rubs in your foot. It fucks your foot up. I gotta wear sneakers. I walk a lot. I stand a lot. I need something comfortable. And before, when I came in the game, niggas wasn't even wearing sneakers like you see them wearing sneakers now. You know what I mean? All them niggas were wearing boots. You know what I mean? So I could say, yeah, I came with a little change to the industry. Niggas wearing J's, like, because you working for millionaires. I might not need the dress, but I'm going to have a hard-ass black fucking collar shirt, nice black pants, and some J's or some ones. You know what I mean? Because I'm running with a made man, so I'm going to look right. You know what I mean? So when I came in the game, niggas were wearing boots. They were wearing them Air Max boots. They was wearing Nike boots. And boots, and they was laughing at me that I look at dread feet because I had sneakers, but they ain't know these sneakers. I break dancing these motherfuckers. You see, they ain't know that chemistry. They ain't know I play basketball. You know what I mean? So that's why it's good never to judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean? So the cops jacked me up. They thinking I'm Gunplay. They handcuff me, and I'm handcuffed. I'm sitting on like a courtside seat watching. I see Gunplay walking. I seen a cat the other day, Mike Knox, he was there. I seen him. Shout out Mike Knox. Cause that's what we do. We empower real niggas. You know what I mean? And they closed in. 50 swung and hit him. 50 hit him first. 50 hit him first. And the crew, they went to work. The crew whooped the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? But I was right there. I'll never forget, Mike Epps ran out. Mike Epps was like, they're fighting again. I just miss it. It was funny. He was a comedian, so the way he said it, but I was there. I seen it. You know what I mean? I ended up getting to know Mike Epps because my guy, shout out Chris, real nigga. He was working for him, and we had like a connection. When Epps come, I look out, and then when we go to Detroit and stuff, they were our security, so we became like bonded. You know what I mean? But Funk Flex, I'll never forget, he tweeted, shots fired, gunman arrested. There wasn't no gunman. But they had me for like 4 hours, yo. Shout out Erica Ibu. She came to the police car. I mean, the police car for like 4 hours. She's like, Dre, don't worry about nothing. They got the Bills ball man waiting for you. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, fuck that. Me and the lieutenant was going back and forth. It's like, oh, you can get locked up, take him downtown. I was like, hurry up. Fuck you mean? You just heard what she said, the Bills bond man is there? Like, come on, I'm good. I'm not even going inside. You gonna run my prince? Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm out of this motherfucker. You know what I mean? So it was all good. Then that situation happened.
Did Jeezy ever have a one-on-one talk with you and kind of salute you for
yeah,
having his back?
Jeezy salute me. We went to Ocean Prime. I never forget asked Clem about that shit. We went to Ocean Prime and Jeezy came and he dapped me. He said, "Gangsta for life." Fuck you mean? He seen that shit. Wow. You know what I mean? And not like I'm some pro at it, but I tell you the clock. I used to snatch chains in the eyes when I'm taking niggas' chains. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna rob you and just take it off your neck. Nigga, I'm gonna snatch your shit off. Let you know it's real. You know what I mean? And you talked to me. We didn't talk too much of the situation, but he was like, nigga, you know what I mean? I guess he had a couple of different bodyguards in life, but I guess I stood out different. Because I regulated and like I said, we ain't trying to pull on Rose. Rose is Rose. And later on I speak on him because I gained more respect for Rose than Jeezy. I'm going to just be real about that shit. But as we carry on with the story, you know what I mean, I'll let you know. But that's what happened at the 2012 BET Awards. You know, DJ Drama, that shit he told you, but people got hostile. That's bullshit. Ain't nobody got no hostile. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's when I kind of learned who Jeezy was a little bit. Because I guess the story wouldn't have been about him. It would have been about Dread, the bodyguard. You know what I mean? So I remember I came work after that. And this one I started gaining some respect for Ross. Because the video when he said whoever the big black dude is, he was going to trade off Rick Ross. He's like, whoever the big black dude is, you give that guy something special for Christmas. That was actually the op fucking shouting me out. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. You know what I mean? But he ain't give me nothing special for Christmas. You know what I mean? And that was crazy. But I started to understand who Ross was. Because he ain't had to do that. You know what I mean? And there had times that Ross did try to come at me. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Ross did a show in the islands. Some niggas from the next hood, they told him my government name. How I know? My dad I put one-on-one together because he went and did a show in St. Thomas. He don't know my government name. You know what I mean? My Facebook, all that shit, and not my government name. Everybody know me as Dread. You know what I mean? So it's impossible. He went and did a show in St. Thomas. My dad, one of my dad's friends, he used to run with in the streets. He's still alive. He used to do bodyguarding work for Rick Ross in he used to do bodyguarding work for Rick Ross in Orlando. And they called him, the manager. And I guess Rick Ross in the background and shit. And they asked him my government name. It was like, who's Ginger Elms? You know what I mean? And my dad friend, he called me. He told him, he was like, yo, I used to run with his dad. You know, his dad, straight up nigga, stand up nigga. You know what I mean? And he told him, like, you can't play with him. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be a problem. Like, I'm just saying. But he called me, though, and he advised me, though. You know what I mean? Even though he spoke his piece with him, he said, yo, you need to check yourself. He said, Rose them just called inquiring about you. They asked me your government name. So I was like, whoa.
But how did it even get to the point where they knew you were from the islands?
Because they went to St. Thomas and did a show.
No, but I'm saying if you just snatched the chains.
Nah, but it's all over. We was talking about it. This was like a trending topic. People was putting Matt together. Dread. You know what I mean? I talked to a couple people home in the islands, you know what I mean? But, word gonna spread.
I got you.
Some niggas try to doubt what I was saying. I put up a picture of the chains. You know what I mean? So when he went St. Thomas, even if I didn't say that, niggas would have still go, because I'm just saying they're on a bus. So niggas sold me out as fucked up from your own island. You know what I mean? But they told them niggas my fucking government name. You know what I mean? When I took the chains, I went to a jewelry shop the next day. The dude watched them. I was waiting to tell him to tell me like 15, 20 towel a piece. I was going to be like, yo, I probably took like 15, 12 a piece and, come up out of there and go get my family right. Because this is what I took it for. I ain't took it because I wanted to wear the chains and shit. Nah, nigga, I'm going to sell this shit. I'm going to get a check and go home back to the family. Woo, woo, woo. We going to move and we going to live here and shit. You know what I mean? So one chain was real. The four was fake. It was a diamond cut ropey. I know gold. You know what I mean? We wear a lot of gold in the islands, just like Trinidad. We watch a lot of gold. We wear 24 karat gold. 18, 14. This 10 shit they sell, like, nah, we don't wear that shit. It's alright, but 14, 18, 24 karat gold. So I knew him. I told it. I sit down at Jeezy in the Phantom the night of the shit, and he was like, all of them fake. I was like, nah, all of them ain't fake. I said, this one is real. It's a diamond ropey. Diamond cut ropey chain. And a diamond cut ropey chain is a ropey you see with the little jags in it, go around, look like the cutout piece. That's diamond cut. That's what you call diamond cut. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I took that. I gave it to my brother. Cause I took the chain, so I ain't gonna go sell the chain. I'm gonna get somebody else. I gave it to my older brother. He went. We sold it for like $3,300 for like cash for jewelry. I went across the street and bought an AK-47.
So you only got 3 bands.
Yeah, for the chain. But the fake ones, nobody wanted it. It was like, it's fake. They say that's a high-priced costume, Houston costume jewelry.
And you went across the street and bought an AK?
47, $5.99, 250 round clips. Shout out Dixie Pond. They've been dealing with me for a long time. You know what I mean? There's some good people though. Dixie Pond, there's some good, they're white people, but they're very good. You know what I mean? He been arming me up for the last couple of years. You know what I mean? When I bought my firearms, I remember I had to call him and get the bill of sale from them when I bought the machine gun from them, the AK from them. You know, as it go down in the story with the California shit. You know what I mean? But I gave my brother some money and I went across the street and I bought that AK.
He said, so after that, Rick Ross was asking about you, but y'all never clashed after that?
We didn't clash. We had a close encounter one time in New York. It was funny. We was in the club with all the officials. I think it was Def Jam Atlantic. So, like, it's funny. The hip-hop is funny. Anybody, like, I just say, not all rappers is like that. But sometimes the labels come out, and when a rapper is gangster and hard, they try to be hard and...
I try to blend in.
You know what I mean? And the fucking DJ in New York was like, Rose in the building! I'll never forget that shit, nigga. That pussy-ass manager Jeezy got right now, fucking Solomon, pussy-ass nigga. Fucking, all the Def Jam officials. They saw, zoop, 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 look, niggas is out of there. And Jeezy manager, I'll never forget him. You know what I mean? I had mad love for him, but he tried to talk to me like I ain't shit, and I didn't respect it because you're from Africa, and after they left the ships, they stopped in the islands and went to America. No shots against people in America, but I'm the closest thing to the island. You know what I mean? And you from Africa, dog. You belong the repatriation type of mentality. Like, you belong looking out for my welfare then. You know, later on we talk about that though, but that's how I call him a fuck ass nigga, dog. Like, he ain't no good. He jumped out of VIP. He's like, hey man, he like, you guys need to chill out, man. You guys need to chill out. Ain't no more drinking now. Ain't no chill out, but guess what? This is what I do. So fuck you. What's up? Rose didn't come over. Rose came in with an entourage. And it was from New York. There's some island cats. I tell by the dreads and the way they was talking. And it was coming over. I never forgot. Jeezy cuffed the bottle. I think the 1944 or something. Or the 1844. You know the
1842. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don Julio.
The Don Julio bottle. Jeezy cuffed that shit. You know what I mean? Because he seen this shit. I seen him though. You know what I mean? But if they come, we gonna connect for. They came over, but they ain't like ran up on us. And Jesus like, watch them niggas coming over. Before he's like, watch them niggas dread. I was like, I see them. Everything cool. He like, all right, once, I'm on point, you know what I mean? And like, this is real shit, you know what I mean? Niggas got pistols, whatever, I don't know. But we gonna lock up. They came over, to like, yo, we need to holler at Jeezy. And I'm like, yo, we ain't doing that tonight. And they was like, let Jeezy know we some real niggas. And I was like, yo, we some real niggas too. And they was like, alright, but I could have had the island. I don't know which island they're from, Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad, but it was from some island. You know what I mean? But they came from over Rick Ross, from his entourage. And they came over by us. And they left though, you know what I mean?
I mean, what you saying though? It don't sound like Jeezy was scared though.
Nah, he wasn't scared. But he got a bottle, I mean, shit, he got no choice.
Yeah, he was ready for war.
Yeah, he ain't got no choice, he got to defend. I might not defend, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, so, like, the stories we telling is not to pull them down, but it's actually my story, you know what I mean? And I think, you know what I mean, I should have a chance to tell my story and not them telling the stories how they want to, you know what I mean? But, yeah.
Did you have any other, like, run-ins with Rick Ross or people associated with Rick Ross?
it had people from both parties that knew people from around Rick Ross. You know, streetwise and business-wise, and, you know, they talked and, you know what I mean? So, it was a balance at the end. The next time I seen Ross, rest in peace to the OG he used to be with. I don't remember his name. Because I got to meet him the first time, shake his hand. I always hail him after that. Yeah, he passed away. Rest in peace to him. We came out of the airport and we ran into each other. But that's the day Jeezy squashed, you know, the situation with Rick Ross. Okay. You know what I mean? I was there because my people came pick me up. I went out there, I broke down my gun, I got it. Because when you come to the airport, they break your gun down. You got to put the, walk with 2-lock box, put your ammunition in one boost. I had to go, ooh, I did my shit quick, came back in. I thought it was smoke again. I was like, okay, this is part 2. But they was blocking the situation. So, you know what I mean? But he had 2 trucks out there too. Ain't no telling who he had in his trucks too. So like I'm telling you, my story is not to bring down Rick Ross. I'm just telling you a situation that took place. You know what I mean? So it's not like if I see Rick Ross today, it's like he's gonna bow his head and run from me. Like nah, it's nothing like that. You know what I mean? But as we go on, like I tell you, we had more encounters, and I tell you, but it wasn't no negative vibes. Like the last encounter made me really have respect for Rick Ross.
Is it true, man? I know you mentioned that you had a little situation with the dude from Triple C's, one of Rick Ross's former artists. I don't know if he's still on his label, Torch.
Yeah, Torch came. We was in New York again, cause we used to be in New York a lot. You know what I mean? And that's the bodyguard that hired me. That's when I started taking his position, cause Jeezy see I was moving. Like this guy's corporate, but he's street as fuck. But I'm playing it like, you know what I mean, like basketball on an NBA level though, Michael Jordan shit. You know what I mean? I'm not reckless then. I'm gonna let you play yourself out and I'm gonna strike you. But if the cops come, who hit first? Him. They're gonna go with you. They're not gonna go with me because I defend. You know what I mean? I don't get out my job title. You know what I mean? So Torch came over, and I know he was a Triple M artist because I do my background check. You know what I mean? I got, you know, just like they doing their check, I do my check. I didn't see, I remember we even see Wale too one time. Wale was in the bathroom. Wale had his pendant, the Indian chief head. I was up there in Atlantic Records. He went to the bathroom. He came with his chain out. When he went to the bathroom, he put his chain in his shirt. I busted out laughing. But I left Wale because I know he was soft. And not like I'm calling him out, but I'm just saying he wasn't ready for what's going to happen. I see him at a label. You know what I mean? And Jeezy told me to leave him alone too. You know what I mean? But I'll just fucking take his shit. I'm just saying, because I'm in go mode. I'm just saying, coming from the streets. You know what I mean? But Torch came up and
Yo, where are y'all at in New York? No, I'm saying where at?
In New York. You know, when I seen Wale at one time, that's New York. That's in Atlantic.
No, I'm talking about Torch. Was this at a club?
Yeah, a club. And he come, he like, let me holler at Jeezy. I like Jeezy ain't doing that because certain nights my client tell me what they want. No pictures, dread eye, you know, I ain't fucking with nobody tonight, you know, whatever they got going on. So I'm not really on go mode, but nah, we ain't doing that. That's the first thing I tell him. Oh, I'm this and that. Yo, we're not doing it. Bye. So he came, he's like, let me holler at Jeezy. They're like, nah, we ain't doing that, you know what I mean? And he did, I told him something and he told me, fuck me. I was like, fuck me? Nigga, fuck you. I swing and I knocked him a punch and we started fighting. And I started fighting because I whooped the fuck out of him. Oh, at that time, he ain't do shit. I picked him up, I slammed him, I ate him alive. That time, I was bench pressing like 450. Yeah, I was in the gym like a monster because I was getting closer to the client. So, you know what I mean? There's different size bodyguards, but that don't mean nothing. If I could lift more than my body weight, what's a nigga to me? You know what I mean? So I was in there cracking 4 and change. You know what I mean? So that's how I was able to pick him up, slam him. You know what I mean? I worked the fuck out of him. You know what I mean?
Damn.
But it was just defense mode though. It's my client. You know what I mean? That's my property, so you can defend your property.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You know what I mean?
So around what time did things start to go left? With you and Jeezy?
When we went to California, we was on a Wiz Khalifa tour, the same one Clem was talking about. You know what I mean?
You talking about the Camp Capone interview?
Yeah. But Clem mentioned it the other day. It was I forgot the name of the tour. Shit was in my head just now.
Was it Up in Smoke?
Up in Smoke Tall. Yep. We went California. The promoter gets killed.
Take that from the top. So you said, hold on.
We was on tour for 30 days. And this is the last 2-3 days of the tour. The last 3 days of the tour. The Friday night, the promoter, he got killed at the venue. But what was like crazy about it, he was Jeezy's after party promoter. You know what I mean? So he got killed outside the bus. It wasn't like exactly our tour bus. It was like, I think it was an equipment truck that takes the equipment to the shows. You know, the speakers.
Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So it's like 2-3 trucks down from us. I remember coming outside. Wiz Khalifa had an effect. He used to go off like a bomb. And the camera guy, David, he was like, you heard those shots? And we all started laughing on the bus because there wasn't no shots. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we didn't. And then a little while after, like 30 minutes after, yo, you hear pop, 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 pop. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, those are shots. So, you know, we wait a little while because you don't know, like, shots fired. Give it a second before you rise up, or, you know what I mean? You might run into something, a bullet or some shit. When I came out of the bus, I seen a guy sitting down dead. Like, he was like leaning down dead in front of the Mack truck. So I called a security call. I was like, the tour bus is locked down. Everybody back inside. I locked down because, you know, we ain't got nothing to do with that shit. Everybody on the bus. Ain't no fucking back and forth or police thinking you coming from somewhere or coming. You know what I mean? The bus is locked down. I locked down the bus. Everybody back on. I locked down on the bus. The cops came, they left, and it was weird. I told them. And the venue was bad, though. And when I say bad, out of the 30 days of the tour, is a Google Stadium, I think it was. Some shit it was in the Bay. And I told him, he was there. I said, this is the worst fucking venue I've been to. He said, why you say that? Because I say I had people jumping the fence. 5, 6 guys, Mexicans, blood, Crips, all type of niggas was jumping the fence. They was overpowering the security. The little white guys up front, they was coming out, it was like, we with Wiz Khalifa, or some people came in, it was like, they with Jeezy, and it was like, they with you guys. I was like, nah, they ain't with us, but they overpowered them. You know what I mean? So, the venue was very slack. Sloppy. It was very sloppy. You know what I mean? And I feel in family, if they was going at anybody, need to go after the fucking venue.
Lawsuit.
Yeah, because it was sloppy. You know what I mean? Jeezy left. You know what I mean? Jeezy went somewhere. I was coming with him, and the manager told me to stand down. You know what I mean? He's like, Jeezy's cool. Jeezy went to the hotel room. You know, guess his girl, whatever was there, whatever may have you.
And you said you saw the dead body, bro?
Yeah, I seen the dude on the ground dead. He was keyed over, dead. You know what I mean? That's what made me call a security call, like, yo, the bus is shut down. You know what I mean? Ain't no in and out. When we came back off the bus, I came off the bus to get food. And it had a couple of people for us outside, and the police had everybody. So the police ended up seeing us. I went and I got some food, and when I came back, they came back. It was like, where you coming from? I'm like, the bus. You just see me came off the bus. And, you know, they wanted to go on the bus, search all this shit, and they searched the bus. They found my handguns. I had an AK-47 in there. But when a gun is broken down, it's not a gun.
The same AK you bought after you snatched Rick Ross' chains? Or
same AK-47. Same one. That's my boy. He stayed with me. You know what I mean? And furthermore, R.I.P. the King, he was the next security, but he wasn't licensed. He was good with his hands, though. But he ain't licensed, so I'm the only licensed security. So I got a big boy, because the tour bus got like 8, 9, 10 people on it. I might have to regulate some shit. The handguns is cool, but my 47 gonna do it better. You know what I mean? So that's the reason for having a rifle in the first place. You know what I mean? It's not there to do anybody nothing, but might need to regulate. Or niggas might have rifles. I'm gonna get mine. You know what I mean? Change my pitch. So what you call it? So they searched the tour bus. They declared them not fired because you know you're gonna smell gunpowder. I never forgot. They went and they did me wrong. The cops, they so dirty. I say, they asked to open the guns because they searched the bus. I was like, don't I supposed to be present when you searching my shit? You know what I mean? I gave them the keys to open the shit. They went, they opened it, they ain't let me be present. The guy came back out, because obviously they had a thing with my rifle, because it was like the rifle, they ain't say nothing about the handguns, but it was like it couldn't be the rifle because it got cobweb in the chamber. Like I tell you, I don't play with guns. I bought that gun, took it to the range, and I always keep it. I keep it oiled on, but in the barrel had cobweb. I don't play with guns. The gun is there, it's a 47. You can bury a 47 and pull it up, crank it, it's gonna fire. It's not like an AR-15 that needs to be nurtured or cleaned all the time. An AK, that's why an AK is so raw. You know what I mean? Because you bury it, you drop it in water, pull it out, crank it, it's gonna let go, and it's not gonna jam. You know what I mean? So they cleared the guns, they cleared the buzz. They held us up there for like 9 hours, I believe. The first time, this guy says experience for me. I seen almost like 100 cops with shields and dogs. I ain't never seen no shit like this before. I'm from the island, so I'm like, and they had us by the stadium, by the stage, and they had us. I remember I went to use the bathroom. Police following me, they watching me. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with these cops, yo? Like, but it's a weird moment because you know how America is. Cops be killing innocent people. They do it on camera and they still get away with this shit. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like my vibes off, but at the same time, I'm not going to lay it out, you know what I mean? But there was stereotyping, there was some bullshit. So we came out of the bay. They let us go like 4 or 5 in the morning. Because the show ended like 9:10. So we left like 4 or 5 in the morning.
So I was there for a minute.
Yeah, we were there for a couple hours, bro. That shit was crazy. We was there for a couple hours. But my pistols was broken down, so when a gun doesn't have a clip of one in the chamber, it's not a gun. So I had a gun breaking out, the gun over here, the clips over here. Like, I know what I'm doing. I understand my job in the business. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody teach me. I watch fucking criminal TV and shit. I'm just saying I understand my job description. Ain't no nigga teach me nothing. I heard one dude on Facebook, Instagram, but he taught me, yo, well, I learned I came from the islands with. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody trained nothing. The streets trained me. The streets of the Virgin Islands trained me. Like I say, I don't play with that. That's somebody's dad. That's somebody's son. That's somebody's husband. You know what I mean? That's somebody's homeboy. They won't get back.
Why would you be concerned if y'all weren't involved, though?
Nah, because it still looks fucked up. That's Jeezy after party promoter. So the word in the Bay and the people are talking is us who did it. You know what I mean? Had a rumor at one time, there's like the security had an argument with him over money and shot him. Did
you have any interactions with him before he passed away?
I seen him. He came by the room to look for Stone. Stone is the manager, but that's not my field. I don't take money from people. So I'm just saying, if you came to bring money to Jeezy, I'll tell you, hold up, and I'll locate Jeezy or the manager. That's their department, because something go missing, you're not going to blame me. Like, nah, you know what I mean? So he came to the thing, he tapped me, he's like, I'm with you. I was like, what you mean you're with me? And he was like, I'm the after party promoter. You know what I mean? That's the first, and then I seen him again, dead, but I seen him there for the first time. So I was like, all right, let me call Stone, hold on. So I was like, yo, Stone, because we buy our room. You got a room for Jeezy there before he perform, you know what I mean, a section. And when I say Stone, the promoter here for the after party, and when I did this, dude was gone. But when he came, he was looking around though, like in a suspicious vibes. I don't know what was going on, but he had like a weird vibes about him. Like, I don't know what he's seen.
Oh, you can sense it. You can
not only sense it, but you can look at his reaction. Because when he tapped me, I turned around like, ooh, what's up? You know what I mean? Not aggressive, but I was like, what's up? He's like, I'm with you guys. I'm like, what you mean with you guys? I'm like, I'm the after party promoter, but when he's talking to me, he's looking around. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I called Stone, and then Stone came, and when we turned around, he was gone. The next time I see him, he's dead. We go to fucking LA, and my ex-wife, she called me. She's pregnant with my last daughter, Grace. She's like, she don't feel good. She feel a bad vibes. You know what I mean? I feel a bad vibes too, because it's like the Bay is only 6 hours from LA. Niggas might not come shooting, but niggas gonna pull up. Like, yo, what the fuck happened last night? You know what I mean? I do it. I'm just saying, if that was my people, and I know you're gonna have a show in LA the next day, I'm fucking pulling up because we're going to get on to the bottom of this. I'm just saying. So I didn't really like the vibes because we in LA, so we outnumbered. They could come with fucking 300-400 niggas. This is gangland over here. I'm just saying, from what was projected TV, we watching. You know what I mean? I've been Cali a couple times. I see how Cali gets down. You know what I mean? So I told the manager, I say, I think we should go home because he had the Seen It All album coming out. So I was like, I think we should go home. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, he want to do the last show, which is Sunday. You know what I mean? So we reached Atlanta. All right, cool.
You reached
Atlanta. Sorry about that. California,
Los
Angeles. Yeah, sorry about that. Reached Los Angeles. We drop off the entourage to the hotel. So I'm going to catch some Z's because we was up. I don't sleep good on a tour bus. I don't go in the bunks. They're like coffins. I'm too big. I don't like them. Sometimes I got to sleep on a couch. You know what I mean? They got a couch out there in the living room, so I sleep in that. Me and Clem used to sleep out there. I don't like the bunks. They got a room in the back, but you know that's for the client. So we get there. I wanted to go rest. Stone was like, nah, not you, Dread. You come in. We going. So me and the manager and Jeezy, because that's what it been a lot. The manager, Stone used to be a security, and now he the manager, you know, assistant manager, and it used to be me, him, and Jeezy. So we went to, I think it's Noble a sushi restaurant, a Japanese. It's a very expensive restaurant, high-end restaurant, because you see stars. Matter of fact, I met will.i.am that night at that restaurant. You know
Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, from Black Eyed Peas. You know what I mean? I met will.i.am. I was saying this is the
That's
type
dope.
of people
Yeah.
be here. You
Just
know
paint
what I
a
mean?
picture of what the atmosphere is like. Yeah.
It's nothing but stars. So we went there, we went and ate, but I was so tired I ate and I went in the truck to catch some sleep. A little shut-eye. It's upscale. I don't need to be inside. Jeezy's fine. You know what I mean? But I'm tired. I can't fucking fall asleep standing up in front of you or next to you like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying it's not going to look professional. So I went in the truck. This is what we do. But Stone is watching him too. So it's cool. So Stone come knock on the window. He like, get up, Dread. He about to walk. So meaning when he say he about to walk, he's coming outside. So I get up, my eyes was red as hell, like bloodshot. I was tired. They held us up the night in the Bay. We went to the club, the 10 Club at Sunset Boulevard. I'll never forgot it. Went in the club, chilling for a while. Ended up seeing Suge Knight. Suge Knight was coming towards us. I was telling my client like to move out. Let's move out of the way, cause I don't know. He shifted from where he was going and he was coming our way. And I was like, yo, let's move out of the way, because, like, Suge Knight just got a weird vibe about him.
What you mean?
He just got a weird vibe. It's just like, he just like, we seen who he was around Tupac, and, you know, his name is just, it just rings bell. Like, I mean, he probably ain't nobody right now to people, but I'm just saying he had his moment. So he have a vibe, like, you know what I mean? I just wasn't feeling his vibe. I don't know what it was, you know what I mean? But afterwards I found out I got shot, and he got shot. But I'm just saying, I was telling my client, let's go, let's move. He won't listen, so when the shot went off, the first shot hit me in my hand. But when the shot went off, I pushed my client down. Jeezy, his homeboy, and another homeboy. But Jeezy don't know I pushed down 2 other people. He think I just pushed him down. First shot hit me right here.
Hold on, Dre. I mean, for the people who weren't there, like, so you saying Suge Knight was walking a certain direction and he switched that to come towards you all.
Towards us.
And shots just started going off, or what happened?
Nah, he was walking, coming towards us, and as he's getting closer to us, I turn around because I'm talking to my client. So I can't see him because I'm looking and I'm talking to my client. Like, yo, we need to move on the side. Like, you know what I mean? The vibes is off. And just sometimes, like, I ain't no psychic, but I caught a vibe. You know what I mean? And it was just plain as simple as that. I caught a vibe, and, you know, the vibe was right. I moved my client out of the way, and when the shot went off, I pushed the client down, and the first shot hit me in my hand. It went up and cracked my wrist, you know what I mean? I got hit right here in my hand. This is surgery that cut it, that took it out, it went up and cracked my wrist. Right under CTE. Yeah, solidified shit. Went right under the CTE logo on my hand, and they popped Suge up 7 times. A girl with innocent bystander. She got shot. So it's basically a straight bullet hit me. The cops was questioning me, but I was like, who do you think they was gunning for? I said, well, The fuck is he asking me? A trick question? Who got shot 7 times? That's obviously who they're going for. And we innocent bystanders. A girl got like grazed in her butt. I got shot in my hand. You know, I was in the room next to Suge Knight. I could hear him. They got him good though. They shot the fuck out of him. But when I was leaving the club, I was leaking in my hand. You know, I get shot, like I tell you, I was shot 10 times on the island. This bullet 11. I'm leaking. I'm holding my hand. I'm leaking like a motherfucker. I tell Jeezy, let's go. Jeezy's on the ground, laying out on the ground, playing dead like a mannequin. You know what I mean?
He didn't get hit.
He ain't got hit because I pushed him out the way. But he probably thought them 7 shots that he heard was for me. You know what I mean? And he probably thought it was me got shot up. So I guess he was showing disconnection, like I'm not with you.
Or he or maybe trying to play dead, like I could be next.
Like, exactly. So I walked off leaving because I'm leaking.
Hypothetically speaking.
But exactly. We don't know, but he was on the ground playing dead. Ain't no way around that. That's why I seen with my eyes, and that's why I left him, or else we'd have walked out of the club together.
What about his homeboy that you pushed down too?
I left all of them there. Nobody got up. I said, let's go. But I'm here for the client. I'm not here for the homeboys. You know what I mean? And the homeboys ain't showing no good at the end because they dodged a bullet and they ain't broke no bread. So I should have left them out the fucking way. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if I knew this whole shit would have played out like this, I'd have never sacrificed myself getting shot.
So you really put your life on the line.
Exactly.
For $200 an hour.
Yes. You know what I mean? $200 an hour.
So what happened after y'all leave?
I walk out of the club. Stone was outside. Stone was like, where's Jeezy? I was like, he inside. He's like, what you mean he inside? I said, what the fuck you mean? You see I got shot in my hand? I told him, let's go.
But they still looking at you like you the lead.
Yeah, but he just asked me, when he see I got shot in my hand, his vibe changed. Because, you know what I mean? I got shot in my hand, you know what I mean? But he went in to find Jeezy. So, you know, the TMZ clip, you see me walking back and forth. Actually went to see the lady running, the MST lady running down the street with me. I was walking to the hospital. The hospital was 7 minutes away. I Googled it. It was 7 minutes of feet. I was going to walk to the hospital because nobody was studying me. I wasn't getting medical attention. They won't study me. So I was like, fuck it. I Googled this shit. I was on the phone talking. I was talking to my ex-wife and my mom. Because they're going to best relay my story back to my girls. Ain't no homeboy going to do that better than them. You know what I mean? So I was talking to my people, like I tell you, I took up 10 bullets, so this is bullet 11. You know what I mean? I went to the hospital to check me in, and the manager came back. And he said, Jeezy, a motherfucker.
That's the African dude?
Nah, not him. He's the main manager. He became the manager afterwards, but Stone was the nigga.
Oh, Stone, you talking about Stone?
Yeah, Stone was a nigga. Stone, to me, Stone was a manager because he had no fucking everything. You know what I mean? Stone was a good fucking dude. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Stone was a good dude. He go high and below for Jeezy. And that's what fucked me up with him because them is the people he fuck over or he play with it. You know what I mean? Niggas who gonna roll over for you, man, you don't play with them type of people. You embrace them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. He came back, he said Jeezy ran out for the story at the hotel. I was like, what you mean? He said, Jeezy said you were trying to tell him at the hotel you left him. I said, what? In my hospital bed, like, what the fuck? And he told me, he's like, his homeboy, I'm about to tell you, I pushed on 2 homeboys. His main homeboy, he be up and down with him right now, Blue. He be up and down with him right now. He told him, and that's why I got some respect for him. I really don't, because he never broke me no bread. Even if he gave me $2,000, I'd appreciate it. Like, niggas like, I don't know where these niggas was raised at. You know what I mean? But nigga take a bullet and save me, I'm going to break you off something to show you the appreciation and gratitude. And we probably need to do a survey about this shit amongst the rappers. Ask real rappers like Future, Moneybag, Gucci. If your bodyguard takes a bullet, you know what I mean? I'm saying, and let's see what they got to say. Because some of these whack-ass bodyguards, if you get shot, you wouldn't want nothing from your client. Like, the fuck is you talking about? I'm here for my kids, bro. I ain't no beatbox.
But they probably looking at it like that's a part of your job, man, like to protect your client, right?
Hey, but when you go to the army and get shot, what you get?
Like a Purple Heart.
And Green Beret, right? When he sells $1 million record, what he get? A platinum plaque, right? If you worker of the week or the month in Walmart, what you get? Employee of the week or the month on the wall, right?
But
so
but not to cut you off, that's an expectation.
In
That's
expectation,
that's not a guarantee. Like they didn't tell you on the front end, like, okay, if you go through something like that, it's a shooting, you get hit, unfortunately, you survive. That we
yeah, that's true. But I'm just
you
saying though, where your heart at though?
No, I'm just
No,
putting it
I
in.
know, but I'm asking you not. Where your heart at? Where your heart at? That bullet could have killed you. I'm bullet 11. I know what they feel like. That bullet could have killed you. You'd have died and sold like Tupac the next day. Michael Jackson. Streams out the world. Like, I'm just saying. You was saved. You never been shot. You probably got shot and died.
So you feel like you saved his life?
Of course I saved his life. Because if I didn't push him out of the way, he'd have got shot. I wouldn't have got shot. So who the bullet would have hit? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Ain't no telling what he would have do. He'd have wiggled out, worm out, and died. You know what I mean? Or maybe become the realest nigga in it. I'm just saying. But, I mean, people got different outlooks. But where I'm come from, we take care of our own. And if a nigga lay his life down for me, I'm going to take care of him. And bosses that raised me in the islands, because Jeezy ain't the first boss I've been around. Maybe them other bodyguards and them niggas, that's the first boss I've been. I ran with many bosses, bro. So I know how bosses and kings operate. That shit he doing, nah. That's not noble. Where's the compensation? Where's the thank you? What, am I chopped meat? You know what I mean? Don't I have girls I go home to? A wife and kids? You know what I mean? So whether you sign up for it or not, where's the thank you? You know what I mean? I ain't no bitch. I ain't asking you for the world. I'm asking to be compensated though. You could have paid a hospital bill. Ain't paying a hospital bill. Ain't got no raise, ain't got no bonus. The fuck they do that at? In the outlook of things, I mean, I can't stress it because maybe 5% feel I shouldn't have got something, but 95% feel I should have got a check. And I still feel so up to this day. You know what I mean? And if he was real enough, he'd sit down with me like a man, cut me a check. We could have been working together up to this day. I'm just saying.
And you feel like that's what caused you to part ways with him, or were you still working with him after you got shot?
I worked for him for a year after, and I was trying to see if he was going to take care of me. My ex told me to sue him, and I told him, nah, this Jeezy, the realest nigga in it. He went trap star 4 times in a row. I'm just saying, me and her got in a heated argument. She said, what is he waiting for, airstrike? Which she was right. He didn't have no insurance. I could have sued him. I didn't do it. He didn't pay the hospital bill. I had to go Grady Hospital, get on a program. I think I was a grand short, or else I would have been over. So I had to get on the program. I got the bullet, took it out of my hand. I think I had the bullet in my hand a month after. I'm just saying, where your heart at? I'm a bodyguard.
So like, what's the interaction, man? Like post that incident in L.A. when you get shot. You go to the hospital. You say you I guess you come back to Atlanta eventually, and you get treated. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your relationship with Jeezy?
He didn't have no insurance. I didn't have no insurance.
What's your relationship with Jeezy after that?
When Jeezy came out of jail, like he lied the other day on the Big Boy podcast. Big Boy get at me. I'm telling you something because he was talking about bail the other day, and he said he spent $10 million bail, and I'm here to tell you that's a lie. He didn't spend $10 million on bail because the cops locked him up. It was my gun. It was in jail. They had a bail. No bail was paid. They wanted ballistics. The ballistics came back no match. The case got thrown out. Where did you pay $10 million bail at? I'm just saying. But go ahead. What was that?
No, I was asking you, so what was the interaction with you and Jeezy?
When he came out of jail, that's why I brought that up. When he came out of jail, I knew it was over. The vibes changed. Because he got sit down, and it wasn't he's looking at me because it's me, because it was my gun he got locked up for. But Jeezy full of shit because I called him the next day to come look at me, come look me up in the hospital, and this is some real nigga shit. I looked at him, and I called Stone. Tell Jeezy come see me. Let's talk about last night. Jeezy said he's going to the gym and he's going to do the last show. So I was like, all right, cool. Go ahead. He did it. I could have prevented him from getting locked up. Because if he came and see me, first and foremost, the whole tour bus should have came and see me. I've been holding you niggas down for 30 days. The security. Any problems, driver, anybody had camera guy, anybody, I was there to defend it. Niggas need to take a pause and come see me. Nah, but he was so wanted about being himself or being into himself, he disregarded. I could have saved him again. Because if they came and see me, I would have asked him, I would have been like, yo, where's my gun, my firearm, my chopper. You know what I mean? And he disregarded, and it's like, he's a weird dude. He know what he be doing, because when Yo Gotti boy got shot by the CIAA in his tie, I remember it was a flesh wound. I seen that shit, but that's from being shot a couple of times. I know how shots look, how they bleed, all that stuff. That's from me getting fucked up myself. We sped up and went to the hospital to see Yo Gotti homeboy. I think he got locked up doing 10 years or some shit with that Young Dolph shit. But he got shot in his foot or some shit, and we sped up to the hospital. So I never understand when I called for him to come to the hospital to see me, he never came. You know what I mean? But I could have prevented him. But he already tried to talk shit the night before that I ran with him, and his homeboy telling him he's a motherfucking liar. His boy Blue stood up. He's like, he's a liar. Dre pushed us out the way. So that story had to die down. So probably that's why he didn't come to Sunday. But when he dodged me, he went and got locked up. He dodged me and ran into a jail cell. Imagine that. Yeah, the motherfucker you don't think supposed to give you nothing. You know what I mean? 9 out of 10 times when somebody get caught with somebody else's gun, they got a body on it or it's stolen, right? My shit was legal though. My shit was legal. So I stayed true to the end. I got shot and I'm still true to the end. And you know, I got but when he came out of jail, I seen it in his face. He's like, when you coming back work, Dre? Like they say 60 days.
It wasn't like an intense conversation?
Nah, it was weird. It was fake. And I had the Def Jam officials and whatever came over to see him, whatever. He's out of jail. But I'm looking at him and take what you call it. I could see it in his face though. I'm just saying, I'm a man with experience. Your body, actions speak louder than words. So I'm watching his body language. Fuck what he's saying out his mouth. I could see him watching me, and I know like the vibes changed. And I knew the vibes changed because they left the next day on a plane, flew to Miami. I had to ride back with the bus drivers. That was horrible. That was a horrible drive back. I got to remember my fucking ex-wife is pregnant. Don't you think I'm supposed to go home immediately? I got 2 daughters. This is the third one. Them niggas jumped on a plane and went to Miami.
And you've been shot.
Exactly. I had to ride back with a tour bus. The man and the wife never been jailed in their life. Been jailed for my gun. So they kind of watching me sideways.
They pissed off.
Yeah, they were watching me fucked up. It was fucked. I apologize to them, but I mean, I'm a humble dude. And even sometimes when you don't want to give people what they want, you still give them what they want. Even though I'm fucked up. I got shot. You just had your freedom took for a week, but you got it back because the gun is legal. You never kill nobody. But I got to live with this. I'm fucked up. I need to go home to my family. It took 2 days to drive back from California. I think it took 4 days. Him and the wife, they arguing and shit. He was like, don't leave or use the phone. It's like, the fuck? You got a hostage or some shit? And she came in the back crying. She's like, because he driving the bus. He can't drive the bus and be in the back. So she come in the back, probably telling me he's going to use the bathroom. She's like, can I use your phone? He doesn't want me to use the phone, so I gave her the phone. Because I got a family and I'm trying to get home to my motherfucking family too. So I put myself in her shoes, you know what I mean? So I gave her the phone. She went in the back and then you feel the bus, you know, turn over all aggressive. She came, threw me back the phone, you know, I deleted the number of my contacts. And they was back there arguing. And he came back up staring at me and I was staring at him too. Like, nigga, what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, they was on the bus. They was watching me crazy. We finally got back to Atlanta, and the story get more intense because the cameraman came and looked for me. He was locked up in jail with Jeezy, and he was like, "You heard what happened in jail, Dredd?" I was like, "What you mean? What happened in jail?" And he was like, "Jeezy was bad talking you in jail." So I was like, "What?" And him and Stone was defending my name because when they was going to court, they was calling me, but I was sleeping because I was up blogging all night till the morning. And
blogging?
Excuse me. Yeah, I was blogging. I was looking online because I was checking the information because they're saying we killed somebody in the Bay. The Saturday night I got shot. The Sunday they got locked up. So California is on fucking fire.
I thought when you were saying blogging, I'm thinking like you talking about you posting.
No. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm going through, you know what I mean? Excuse me for using that term, I'm just going through. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm looking at line, I'm watching out California talking crazy. Yo, Atlanta motherfuckers, we gonna kill you. Jeezy, your bodyguard, you guys hide him. Don't come back to the Bay. Yo, Atlanta motherfuckers, yo, they was going crazy. So I was taking, I think 800 Percocets they gave me. I took some, I went to sleep like around 7. They was calling me for court. I ended up getting up and going for court. I had like 100 missed calls. But I fell asleep, like, in the morning time, not knowing they had to go to court. Lack of communication. Nobody didn't tell me to go in court tomorrow because I'd have been prepared. I wouldn't have been up online fucking around. I probably been up, but not so long. So, Jeezy, them thought I ran. Yeah, they thought I ran, bro. That shit, bro, that was some bullshit. They fucking speak down on me. But Stone and them, Stone told him, you know what I mean? Not Dread, you know what I mean? Dread, defender of the faith, you know what I mean? I got it right here in my hand. The defender. You check, we defender. We standing it. We ain't, you know what I mean? You see the 6-point star. This is a Star David. You know what I mean? We standing it, you know what I mean? The Star David, yo. Like, you know what I mean? Respect to those that represented and what they represented in, but as a Star David, you check, we standing that. The house of the tribe of Atlanta, the tribe of Judah, yo, we standing that. Carolina, the tribe of Judah, we standing that. He told me, and it just like, I went back work like 30, I went back, they had a war ready party, because him and Jeezy, Rick Ross made up, they fixed the shit. So I came to the party, I was looking for some cats, though. Cat had some money for me, so I was looking for him. And, take what you call it. It was weird because I see Rick Ross, I see G. I read Jeezy's lips. I ain't no lip reader, but I could have read his lips though. He asked Stoney like, "What Dread doing here?" I had my hand in a sling. You know what I mean? Fucking me while I'm doing it. Like I could go where the fuck I want to go, nigga. You know what I mean? So my hand was in a sling. People keep butting into my hand. So from getting into anything with anybody, I went to the side. You know what I mean? To the, the end of the club, the exit. And Rose left afterwards, and Rose stopped. He grabbed my hand. I'll never forget it. The fucked up hand he grabbed. But it was like a star-studded moment because I'm starting to interact with stars. Some stars, like if I see Future, he doesn't pass me straight. And I don't pass him straight neither. I hail him up. I mean, if he doing his thing, I wait on the side. And then I'll be like, "Hey, my nigga, what you saying?" I daps him up. But we just got kind of close from when he came St. Thomas. Because him and Jeezy shot a video in St. Thomas. You check No Tears, you look it up. That's the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's St. Thomas. I took them there. You know what I mean? And it's just on the strength. Like I'm just saying, ain't nobody disrespected. Ain't none of that. Like we came there, we handled our business, and we left. You know what I mean? But Rick Ross shook my hand. And he said, "I heard what you did in California. That's some real nigga shit." So I was like, damn, you know what I mean? And right there and then I had a different respect for Rick Ross. I looked at him different. I even wish, the situation 2012 didn't happen because, damn, I should have been working for you. Because if I got shot saving Rick Ross, I know he would have took care of me. Just off of the little encounters we had. But when he told me that, like, I had a different respect for Rick Ross after that. You know what I mean? And that's real nigga shit. I ain't no funny shit. I ain't no sucker shit. That man came and grabbed my hand, bro. And I feel how he embraced me. The fucking hundreds of people walking out of the club. He stopped and seen me. You know what I mean? I know he seen me, but you know what I mean? And he fucking grabbed, I meant to tell him, "Hey man, my hand," but it was a moment, you know what I mean? He grabbed my hand. He was like, "Yo, I heard what you did in California. That's some real nigga shit." So with Rick Ross, for him telling me that, I felt the vibes with him because I never thought it was over. I always felt in my head, even though I work for different clients, like, yo, he probably gunning for me still. But that night, you know what I mean, it gave me an ease, but I still keep my antennas up. You know what I mean? Not like there's no vibe, but I'm just saying, like, some people forgive, but they don't forget. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that type of order. But, I went back to work. And I watched him for a while, and it
wasn't the same.
Like my gangster was kind of kicking in, like I'm gonna be real, cause I'm watching him on the stage, like realest nigga in it. You already know, real nigga in the building. I'm watching him like real nigga my ass. Got shot in my hand, even broke no bed. I watched nigga throw 30, 40 bands in the club. Like, damn, nigga could have gave me fucking 10 bands, 15, 20 bands. Nigga, you could have gave me a house down payment. I'd have ran with that. You could have bought me a brand new car. I'd have took that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not asking for the world. Them niggas that say that, they suckers. They never been shot. You know what I mean? So they don't understand the difference. They just talking off of air. You know what I mean? The one security guy like, oh, I signed up for a job. Yes, we do. But where's the compensation, though? It's just like making a big deal go down for a fucking retail company. What you think your boss gonna do after that? That nigga gonna take you to lunch or dinner. And he gonna take you to the Diamond or 5-star restaurant. Because you deserve it. We don't find niggas like that. And we gotta understand, everybody got 100 niggas gonna shoot. How much niggas got niggas gonna lay down and die for them? I'm just saying. I'll wait for it. You know what I mean? We could do a poll on that too. How many niggas? They got 100 shooters. How much people gonna lay their life down on the line for you? They gonna talk it. But when it's time to do it, is something gonna change. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, in actuality, like, where our heart at, maybe that's why, as a black people, we to the bottom of the food chain, because we don't even take care of each other. We shit on each other. While the white man is shitting on us, while the fucking system is shitting on us. And we still turn around and shit on each other. We build champions. We don't kill them. I'm somebody. Even though you're a fucking rapper, I'm a bodyguard. Take me up. I defend the door. Let me in the castle, nigga. I'm just saying. Let me in. I ain't saying I gotta sit by the table, but I emerge, though. Or you want me to stay here by the waist, keep coming back. Don't evolve. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know what I mean, in actuality. You know what I mean? Because this is life. I'm doing this for a check too. I want this money just like you. The finer things in life is for me too. It's not just for you alone. I know I got to work for mine. I'm not trying to shit on you or climb on your back to get mine. But yo, I feel I earn mine. And I take it to the grave. You know what I mean? I stand on principle, and if you got principle, you understand. If you ain't got a principle, you ain't gonna understand. If you don't have no experience, if you don't understand the G and G code, you're not gonna understand it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm gonna leave that right there.
No, for sure. You say you worked with him pretty much a year after that incident. So, how did the divide happen? Like your last day.
I started to see ain't nothing going on.
How did it end though? Did it end like
I just
on a positive vibe though?
I just started coming to work.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I just started.
It wasn't a conversation with him or nothing like that.
Nah, we never had a conversation. Every time we try to have a conversation, he always telling me, see, he spent 10 million. One time he tell me he spent 6, and one time he tell me he spent 4. But it's hard talking to rich people or wealthy people, because if me and you talking, I'm just saying, I watch everybody talk to him. I mind my business, wait on the side, and go to him. When you talking, people want to come, they want to hear what he telling you. Because now it's your moment, like, oh, he talking to Dread. So motherfuckers, the game is so whack, bro. I'm just saying. Like, I remember sometimes I was working bodyguard, I be closing the door for Jeezy, but the other bodyguard closing the door on me. And I used to look around like, what the fuck is you doing? Because when you closing the door, I don't do that. I don't need your assistance. But I'm just saying, the ways of people, it's crazy. The shit that people do, bro. I'm not built like that, so when I see it, it disturbs me, or I'll be like, what the fuck, you know what I mean?
No, for sure. So what do you do after that? Do you start bodyguarding for other artists?
I took a year. I took a year off. I took a year off. Me and my ex-wife, she from Boston. We went to Boston, and I took her because I was ready to get on some gangster shit with him. I'm just gonna be really real. And the gangster shit wasn't about me being harder than him, me being taller than him. Nigga, why you ain't took care of me? That's what it have been about. So before we graduated into that, I stepped away. I removed myself. Because remember, I'm not saying he ain't a gangster and then they're not affiliated, but you don't know who I am, my guy. You don't know the history I come from. You don't know the business I stand on. So I removed myself from around this shit. You know what I mean? Because I didn't respect it. I stand on business, and this ain't business. This motherfucker need to get burned down if you ask me. You know what I mean? So that's why I was heading with it, and that's why I moved myself away from it. You know what I mean? He know what it was, though, because he came and did a show in Boston. And he seen me. And I knew it was something because I always come through the back. Them niggas made me come through the front door and get searched. I was like, wow. Wow, when I seen that shit, bro, I know them niggas turn funny on me. Because they ain't know what to expect with me. You know what I mean? 'Cause I was telling people like, yo, fuck that shit. But still, like, have a conversation with me, dog. If you could sit down and have a conversation with Gucci Man and do a versus, come on, bro. The money I was asking for, the money you could bless me with, that's water under the bridge for you. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, it's like, where are our people's hearts at, though? You know what I mean?
Did he ever promise you any type of compensation?
He ain't promised me nothing, but I want some. 'Cause I know what the fuck I did. And if you had any of them goofy ass bodyguards you with right now, they wouldn't have laid down their life and take no bullet. Not them whack ass niggas. Ain't everybody gonna do that. So if you got a man that's willing to lay down and take a bullet, what the fuck do you do with him?
No, I mean, bro, you done mentioned like bodyguards multiple times and not necessarily in a positive way. Like, is there some type of like rift or issue you got with his current bodyguards or something?
Nah, he's just a gangster. I surpassed him. He hired me, I came and I took his job. This ain't even nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? But sometimes, you know what I mean, I speak with clarity. That's all it is.
For
But
sure,
you know what I mean?
So once that Jeezy chapter closes, like who are some of the other artists you started working with?
What activated me back, I was in Boston, and the way I did it, it was dope. I was in Boston and Davies came through, and like, I got the phone call, Dre, where you at? I'm in Boston. It's like, yo, two of my niggas in Boston need to get out. They got in some shit. Davies them whoop Eddie Fish. He's a rapper, an upcoming rapper from Boston, and they whooped the fuck out of him. And they called me to get him out there because the security, they ain't had no hammers. You know what I mean? So I came through, I had my shit. But I was a mind over matter. I ain't gonna front. Eddie Fish came back with niggas in the morning, though, in the morning time. So we stayed there till the morning, and he came back with some niggas. He tried to ask me who you with, but you know what I mean? I told him, you know who I'm with. Like, ain't no questions asked. If you see Dread, you know his business. You know what I mean? Came back with some niggas that was spinning the block, the thing. But I use a mind over matter situation. We was parked in the back. They flat the sprinters. They got one sprinter fixed. They couldn't find no other sprinter with the tire size, or some shit was going on. And I had me a Chrysler 300, a Hemi. So the sprinter, they're no good. They're not reliable. I won't advise you. That's like kid shit, party shit. People air them shit out all the time. That's for like families or something, not for rappers. So I was like, throw Davies in my car. It's a Hemi. Even if niggas, we gonna shoot it out, but they can't keep up with this car. It's a Hemi. So Davies rode shotgun with me. His manager jumped in. The entourage jumped in. I had to tell them niggas go inside too, because we was downstairs. There was exchanging words with Eddie Fish, and it was like, let me get the piece. I was like, let you get the piece? Like, nigga, I'm here for the client. I'm not here for you. You know what I mean? You should go inside, because if you got shot, like, I'm not here for you. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm not here for you. If I defend you, how are you going to bail me? Or you paying my way today? You paying me money? Nah, I'm here, you know what I mean? I'm standing on business. I'm here for the clients. I tell them niggas go inside. But I just took him out. I came and did it professionally, corporately. I introduced myself to the hotel, because the venue was across the street. So they fought by the venue, and then they fought by in front of the hotel.
They fought twice.
Yeah. Eddie Fish came back and whooped him again.
Did Davies ever tell you what it was over?
Nah, I don't know what it was. I just know
he
it whooped his ass.
There to do the job, though.
Yeah, I just came to get him out of there. So I came down there. I use mind over matter. When we have big functions like All-Star Weekend, the hotels be overcrowded. So to get in the elevator, you gotta wait 10, 15 minutes, shit like that. I went through the back. You know, this is why I take my bigger clients through. I went through the back where the food comes in for the hotel. Yeah, I line up my cars, all that shit. You know, I came into the hotel, I introduced myself. I'm Dread, boom, boom, boom. I'm the bodyguard. Can I speak to the head of security? And then, you know, I told him, and he liked the idea. I was like, I want to use the elevator, like the maids, and when they bring up the food, that's different from the main elevator. And then you come through a different way, so we line up the cars. So while Eddie Fish them was in the front, thinking we gonna come out the front, nigga, we done gone through the back. But it was a mind over matter. I mean, if we had to shoot it out, I would. But I'm just saying, I would have shoot it out, probably caught a case there, And then Davies them gone. And I'm in Boston with a case. Like, nah, so I gotta think of my well-being. And that's something I have sometimes with artists is when they come to Atlanta and shit, and they trying to do too much. And I'll be like, yo, my nigga, when you leave here, I have to live here. So turn down with that shit. I'll protect you and shit. But the extra shit you're doing, nah, bro, because I still have to be here in the fucking city. So, you know what I mean? It's just a mind over matter situation. I got him out of that shit. They paid me. Fuck that, Davies. I want a feature. You know what I mean? One of these days. But there was some G shit. I got him out of that shit, and I started hitting it again. And then London in the Track came. I got London in the Track. That was dope. Cause London didn't really need no security. He took me overseas. That was a blessing. Yeah, I went to Rome. I went Italy. I went Barcelona, Spain. I went Paris. I went England. I went Amsterdam. I went Montreal, Canada. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? So London on the Track, and like the blessings, it started to flow. I started to see it's better. Is fucking, and then Davies was paying more money, and fucking London on the Track was paying more money. He's a producer. I'm just saying. So I was a producer paying more money than an artist. You know what I mean? So I started to see it's a little greener on the other side. The grass is greener. So go on the other side, and the clients that start coming. I had a very good run with Jeezy though. So this is how I got a lot of business still up to this day. You know what I mean? You just heard a phone call. You know what I mean? We're gonna step with Big Sexy. I'm just saying, but I solidified my name from the islands into the game so people know. At first, it was trying to blackball me though. Because people was trying to understand why I'm not with Jeezy. But when I told them my story and then people checked back to the streets, they was like, alright, cool. They understand, but it was trying to. But who God bless, you can't curse. You know what I mean? And I stand on that. You know what I mean? So they couldn't curse me. They tried to. You know what I mean? And I mean, and who God bless, no man curse. I stand on that. I stand on that, bro. And the work does keep coming of different people. Ace Boogie the Hoodie. Shout out Ace Boogie. Them High Bridge niggas, I fuck with them. You know what I mean? Good
up there
people.
in New York,
yeah, come on, man. Fucking I messed with this guy named Joe out of Philly. Good dude. He brought me around Freeway. Beanie Siegel, them, like, that was dope just to be in the presence of them. And then like doors started opening. Different doors. You know what I mean? I did Megan Thee Stallion. I happened to be when Moneybag, you know, and Megan, whatever they was doing, it was together. But I was there. I had a chance to bodyguard two of them. You know what I mean? I work with Young Tug, free Young Tug, because freedom is a must. But you know, it's a very delicate case, but still, you know what I mean? Freedom to anybody incarcerated. You know what I mean? I work for Young Tug. I work for so much people, it's not even funny, bro. You know what I mean? It's so much. I did Wiz Khalifa, I did Moneybag, I did Yo Gotti, I did Dre Kirkpatrick for the Cincinnati Bengals. I did so many people, bro. You know what I mean? And it's just a blessing from God, you know what I mean? And sometimes I see Jeezy. He watch me, I watch him. But I mean, shit, you know what it is. You know what I mean? We could sit down and have a grown man conversation, or we could just sit and stare. I ain't with the bullshit, you know what I mean? Now I see his security trying to push up their mouth, but I don't mind them, yo.
So you've run into him since you've been staying in Atlanta. I mean, after everything.
Yeah. I see Jeezy. I seen Jeezy the other day after I did the Camp Capone thing. Jeezy was in Jacksonville for the Lil Duval day. I seen him. I seen his cousins in the hotel. I seen his DJ in the hotel. We were staying in the same the hotel. He was outside the truck. But you know, I was handling business, so I didn't stay around. But he seen me, and I knew he was in the truck. I ain't stupid. See your cousins in there waiting. You know what I mean? I see a DJ. That's the entourage. That's them just coming. Like, come on, I'm doing this shit too long. So I knew. But he don't come after me and no shit. And it's not nothing personal. Like, I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to kill him. I just don't respect what you did. You know what I mean? And, like, I think a lot of corporate people should stay out of it because they don't understand the streets. He understands the streets very well, and I do very well too. So he know what the fuck I'm standing on. And other real niggas know what I'm standing on. You know what I mean? But I got to do a lot of clients, and I had a good run with Jeezy, and I solidified my name. Niggas know Dre gonna go, and my name is a household name. People know they call me. Dre, where you at? You just heard a phone call. We need you. They coming in tomorrow. Woo, we going. I just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
No, for sure, for
Take
sure.
me a college, though, brother. But,
No,
you know.
no, for sure, for sure, for sure. Well, just lastly, like, man, if
Oh,
anybody.
yeah, Freddie Gibbs, whack ass. After they whooped him in Buffalo, they called me, dread again, clean up, you know what I mean, like a third baser, third in the pitching. The home run is coming in, but not flattering myself, but they called me, I came in and dealt with it. But some of these clowns are crazy because with Freddie Gibbs, not airing out his dirty laundry, but don't be playing my life when I come around you. And when I say that, you got whooped in fucking
Buffalo.
In Buffalo, and you still out here catching lifts, nigga? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And like, you know, it became an issue. I told him we gotta do better than this, my nigga, because we gotta leave the pistols inside the truck. But we don't know these people. They could drive off with our shit. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, man, like, he was alright at one point, but he whacked all that shit. I ran into Jeezy, like, lies. Them niggas be fucking lying. Like rappers, man, rappers remind me a little bit. Some of them, not all of them. But rappers is like the new, you know how people got beat up in school and then they turn cops? That's what some rappers remind me of. You know what I mean? You turn a rapper, you got some money, now you got power. Just like the police, you join the boys in blue, you got a fucking cavalry you could call, you know what I mean? You think you're the law, you run shit. I'm just saying, I'm just telling you from my experience. You know what I mean? But I came on that tour on a regulator. Ain't nobody touched Freddie Gibbs after that. And they could have come and they could have tried. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, murder she wrote, baby. You know what I mean?
You call him, call Freddie Gibbs whack ass though.
Yeah, he's a whack ass nigga. In the end of the day, you know what I mean? But I ain't gonna go too deep into that. But them niggas, man, they just, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? But I still interact with clients. I just go for the better client, the less problems. Because some of them do too much. Just imagine somebody running you from 9 in the morning till 6 in the morning. Then they back up 9 o'clock. But they paying you $200, $300. It doesn't add up. You niggas are doing 6-figure shows, yo. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, they be playing with the business. You know what I mean? And I'm at the point, I don't really care for the business. But I still mess with the business. I'm working on getting my own business where I train niggas. You know what I mean? So they come into business correct because I was trained from a good bodyguard. My bodyguard Ponytail, he used to bodyguard SWV. That's back in the days of the 90s. He been around. But he trained me and he gave me certain teachings. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm at the point where I care for it, but I don't care. I do it so I, you know, take care of my family, my kids and stuff. You know what I mean? But I'm not like, I used to be anxious and hungry for it, but I just don't jump up because this is my life, man, and you only got one life. I always tell all my clients, it got to make sense. If it don't make sense, I ain't fucking with it.
For sure.
So you're not going to take me on no dummy mission. That's what I call it. You're not going to call me on no dummy mission, bro. And you're not going to pull me into no dumb shit. It got to make sense. If it don't make sense, I ain't fucking with it. Call me what you want.
That's 100, man. With Dread, man, I appreciate you sharing your story, dog. Like, just lastly, like, man, if anybody want to get up with you, work with you, you know, let them know how to find you, bro.
Man, look me up on Facebook, Samson Dread. Look me up on Instagram, Samson_Dread_SYMG. You know what I mean? Just look me up. Come correctly, man. Come business minded, or don't come at all. You know what I mean? Because I'm about my business, and I feel you should too. You know what I mean? And I'm taking deposits too. You know what I mean? And the security and podcast is get at me. It's cool. You know what I mean? We elaborate, we come up, you know what I mean, with something. But security-wise, I'm taking deposits. I ain't got time to play, you know, people calling my line, asking my personal information, and then cancel the job. Like, I ain't got time for that bullshit. You know what I mean? So, you know, but I run into the right client, you know what I mean? But I'm still active, though.
For sure, for sure.